It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. Someone in the chat, let me know when you guys can hear me. Let me know so we can officially get started. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to go over. I know you guys have been waiting for this review. Of course, there's Casey. Always the first one. Always the first one here. Gotta give a shout out to you. All right, you guys can hear me? Great. Perfect. And the chat's working on the stream. Alrighty. All right. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka GLauren33. I want to welcome you guys back here to the Legit Shoot podcast. I'm here today or tonight with your official WWE Summerslam 2021 full show review and results. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for joining me on the podcast. Thank you guys for being patient, right? That's what I really want to emphasize. Thank you guys for being patient. SummerSlam happened close to 24 hours ago. Not exactly, but it's been about a day since the show took place. And I know you guys have been waiting patiently for the review. And I'm glad that I could be here tonight to give it to you guys. I told you that if I wasn't able to do the review Saturday night, I would make sure I would do it sometime today on Sunday. And here we are. So thank you guys for being patient. The support you guys show, even when I post a late review, means the world to me. Let me fix my camera real quick, because this is probably going to be a long review, so we want to make sure we look good, everything is good. But like I was saying, the support you guys show on the podcast is the main reason why I do this. If you guys didn't care, if you guys didn't want my thoughts, I wouldn't be here, right? And we got a lot to go over. The good thing about me doing these reviews a little bit later than all the other podcasters, right? Everybody, gets their thoughts out right away, right after the show goes off the air. And some people, they can be very emotional. They can be very emotional because they have, wild thoughts about the show they just saw. It's called recency bias. You guys know to deal with that. You guys have seen me. I've been a subject to recency bias in the past many times. So, dang, my camera keeps bothering me. I just want to make sure it's right. All right, there we go. But you guys know I've been a subject of recency bias in the past, especially when it comes to superstars like Goldberg or Big Show or Kane or bad booking decisions. But, me doing the review about 24 hours after SummerSlam has gone off the air, it gives me time to collect my thoughts, really think about what I watched and where the WWE is going. And, to start off tonight, SummerSlam was not a good show in my opinion. If I'm being honest with you guys, it was not. And a lot of that goes for the middle of the show, especially with the two big women's matches we had. The Smackdown Women's Championship and the Raw Women's Championship. All right, I'm getting a text. Hold up. Hold up real quick. Anyway, like the middle of that show, with the way the women's division was booked, both the SmackDown and Raw Women's Championship, matches, the way those two matches were booked have, in my opinion, absolutely taken any momentum that the women's division had. All the momentum that the women's division had has been absolutely crushed. And it wasn't much to begin with. It was mainly on the SmackDown side of things. But now the women's division has been sent into a state where it reminds me a lot of where we were after what's it called? After WrestleMania a couple years ago, when Becky won both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. That's what it reminds me of. The women's division, the way it was booked on that SummerSlam show, it's just something I'm not going to get over for a while. And the women's division is just in a chaotic mess, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm sitting here right now, and I don't know how you fix it. The way the women's division was booked on that show is the main reason why I think this was a bad show. There were some high moments, right? RK Bro winning the Raw Tag Team Championships, Damian Priest's match with Sheamus, the Edge versus Seth Rollins match was arguably in my opinion, a top 3 main roster match this year. And, the main event with Roman and John Cena, even though the ending disappointed me, and I found it predictable that Lesnar came back, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, right? Cena and Roman delivered for the most part. And so there were high moments on the show. But the way the women's division was booked pissed me off so much, and it took the energy out of that show. Because there was momentum going into those 2 matches, right? The show had been decent up to that point. You were just coming off a really good match with Damian Priest and Sheamus, and then the entire way they booked that SmackDown Women's Championship match, and then it led directly into the Raw Women's Championship match, right? The way that those, and then you had Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal there as well. The middle part of that show, it killed any momentum. And it seemed like, yes, Ed and Seth Rollins and Cena and Roman were able to bring things back up. But still, me personally, like, after I saw what happened with the women's division, I was depressed, really. I recorded, for those of you guys who saw, I recorded a reaction immediately after Becky Lynch won the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was a 40-minute reaction. It was basically almost like a normal podcast because I had so much to say on that situation. After, after recording that, I just was in a depressing state. I could even enjoy Edge and Seth Rollins to the fullest because it just kept bothering me about what happened with the SmackDown Women's Championship match. I really didn't get back to my normal self and, in trying to enjoy the show until the main event. Because the Cena and Roman video package was so great. And I was so invested into that match because I'm such a big John Cena fan, right? And everything they've done with Roman. I'm still, 24 hours later, I'm sitting here dumbfounded. And I cannot believe what we actually saw last night. We saw the burial of Bianca Belair. We saw Becky Lynch come back. And her return absolutely meant nothing. Becky Lynch, one of the top stars in that division, someone people actually love. Now Becky Lynch is getting hate. You see, we talk about all the time how much people hate Charlotte for her overbooking. Becky Lynch is now getting, booed all over social media for the way she was booked last night. Who would have thought people would complain about Becky Lynch booking? Who would have thought the day would come? You have people sad and worried about what's going on with Sasha Banks. Because I heard an interview with Bianca earlier, and Bianca said that Sasha had a rough couple of weeks. And we still have no idea what's going on. We don't know if Sasha got COVID. We don't know if Sasha is injured. We have no idea why she was taken off the card. And, I know Sasha's a private person, but we know that Sasha's a private person. She likes to keep things to herself, but still, it's very, very concerning. Very, very concerning that we still don't have any answer. And we have no idea what's going on and when she's going to come back. This is starting, I'm honestly, like, at first, when this first happened, I was like, okay, if Sasha has COVID or if something happened, she'll be back, right? But now here we are 24 hours after SummerSlam, and I'm hearing, Bianca say that Sasha had a rough couple of weeks, and we're not getting any indication of what's going on and why she was not at SummerSlam. It's starting to scare me like 2019 when Sasha was gone for 4 months, and we had no idea if she was coming back. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you guys. I've tried everything to try to get some kind of information about what happened, but I can't find anything. This has nothing to do with Sasha's booking or, her place in the division. And now I'm just concerned for her personally. Like, is everything all right? And I hope that everything is all right, but it's concerning. And going into this review, it's just like, I'm trying to keep a clear head about everything. My light's acting up. I'm trying to keep a clear head about all this, but dude, it's just like it's rough. It's just rough, and when you look at SummerSlam as a whole, it just wasn't that good a show. It wasn't. We hear all this about them wanting to make SummerSlam the WrestleMania of this year. It felt nothing like that. It didn't. The piped-in crowd noise. You put in all these celebrities trying to add some kind of, superstar value to the show. Didn't do much. The booking of many of the matches. Some of the matches went too long. Some of the matches went too short. And just the booking, it's just all in all, it's just disappointing. It just wasn't a good show. It wasn't an awful show. It wasn't like the worst pay-per-view of all time. But all in all, it just wasn't a good show. And the thing about it is, you hear all this, WWE has a plan for, the debut of CM Punk. And look I knew deep down that WWE's response to CM Punk debuting in AEW was going to be Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar. I didn't tweet about it. I didn't mention the video. I kind of knew that, hey, if Roman beats Cena like we expect him to at SummerSlam, because they basically told you Roman was going to beat Cena at SummerSlam after Roman put his career on the line, stupidly, right? Roman saying, oh, if I don't walk out as champion, I'm leaving WWE. They had made it obvious right then and there, oh, Roman's going to win, which was dumb. You took almost any intrigue, out of the match, really. And it made the main event feel a little less special because it made it feel predictable, right? And I kind of knew, hey, if Roman beats Cena, where does he go from here, right? Because if Roman beats Cena, a Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest of all time, if you give us Roman versus Balor, yes, that's going to be a good match, but it's not believable that Balor would beat Roman. It's not. And this is one of the problems with Roman. Roman is fantastic, and he's dominant. He's being built to look like a god among everyone. He's ran through everyone on SmackDown. But here's the thing. You have Roman beat everybody, and then you don't build anybody up to beat him. How Roman could be champion for as long as they choose to. But whenever they decide to finally have Roman drop that title to, no matter if it's Drew McIntyre or, I don't know, Big E or Seth Rollins, I don't know who's going to be the one to take that title off of Roman. But whoever is the one that eventually takes that title off of Roman, they have to be built up to an extent that it's believable that they can beat Roman and carry on the torch, because Roman's on one of the most dominant title reigns we've ever seen in modern history. So when Brock Lesnar came out, I wasn't shocked at all. I had a feeling Brock was going to come out after Cena. I really did. I didn't think he was going to come out with the ponytail and the beard still. I thought Brock would probably come out as normal Brock, right? Have his hair short, be clean shaven again. But it didn't surprise me at all when Brock came out. Because I was like, all right, you've gone from a Hall of Famer in Daniel Bryan to a Hall of Famer in Edge, to a Hall of Famer in Cena, right? And where do you go from here? You can't go from those big names down to Balor. And it's not any disrespect to Balor, but Balor's not on the level of those guys, right? You can't go from Roman beating all those guys and then go down to Balor. No. It made perfect sense for Brock to be the next in line, because you're building up Roman to be a god that whoever eventually defeats him, they're going to be made into a superstar just for beating Roman. The guy that should take the torch from Roman, right, as Universal Champion, should arguably be the biggest babyface in the company by the time they defeat Roman, whoever that is. And unfortunately, WWE has not done a good job up to this point of building somebody up to beat Roman. All right? The only guy that maybe makes sense is Drew McIntyre. But I can't think of anybody else. Because you have Brock, and if Roman beats Brock, where do you go from there? How many other legends can you bring for Roman to beat? What, are you going to bring Goldberg back again? After last night, Goldberg should never be in a ring again. I feel like I'm a broken record because I say that after every single Goldberg match. But I feel like last night was the straw that broke the camel's back. Goldberg should never be wrestling again. Again. And then if you have Roman beat Brock, what? You try to get Goldberg maybe? Fuck no. Who else is there for Roman to beat? You do a match with Balor? Okay, predictable. Roman would run through Balor. What? You do Roman versus Seth? I would expect Roman to probably beat Seth. And what? Then if you're lucky enough to get The Rock, right? If you're lucky enough to get The Rock, why wouldn't Roman beat The Rock? We know The Rock's not going to stay. We know The Rock's not going to... He's like Cena. He has movies to do. If you're lucky enough to get The Rock for WrestleMania to face Roman, right? That's a one and done. Roman's going to beat The Rock. The only person I can think of that you could possibly build up to beat Roman right now that's a full-time guy is probably Drew McIntyre. And I feel like WWE can do better. I feel like it's time for WWE to build up a legit big babyface star to be the one to take out Roman. Someone new. And I like Drew McIntyre, but I feel like if Drew's the guy to take that title off of Roman after everything, it's gonna be like, it's just gonna be another title reign for Drew. It should be, the guy that should take the title off of Roman should be somebody completely fresh. Somebody who is gonna become a superstar by beating Roman. Somebody like a Keith Lee. Keith Lee should be built up. Somebody like him should be built up to defeat Roman. Someone gave their first world title victory and has crazy amounts of momentum behind them. The way Keith Lee is now, no, it's not believable that he could beat Roman. Right? Not at all. But if you gave Keith Lee months and months and months of victories and months of momentum, then and only then would it make sense for him or somebody like him to take the title off for Roman. That's the way the Universal Championship should be booked. It should not be a legend or a part-timer taking the title off of Roman. As much as I wanted Cena to get number 17, and as much as I wanted Cena to beat Roman, it just didn't make sense because Cena's not going to be there. And yes, it would have been an interesting story to see Cena take the title to Hollywood and see Roman suffer on WWE TV without the Universal Championship. It just didn't make sense. This is not 2017 with Brock. And it's one of the main reasons why Brock won't be the one to defeat Roman anyway. It won't. And it's just one of my problems with the Universal Championship and Roman right now. You have Roman run through everybody, but you haven't built anybody up to eventually take that title from him whenever you plan to do it. Which would probably not be till WrestleMania next year at the most likely. Because who's going to take that title off of Roman before WrestleMania next year? No, they're not going to take the title off him at Survivor Series or the Rumble. Roman's most likely walking to WrestleMania next year with that title around his shoulder still. But honestly, man, and this all goes back to my point. WWE trying to one-up AEW with the debut of CM Punk. But here's the thing. I knew that Becky and Brock were going to come back. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if Becky and Brock are back. They were never going to be enough to top what AEW did this weekend with the return of CM Punk. It was never going to make sense. Ever. I'm sorry if that's hard to hear, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. This is what WWE does. They see AEW or they see somebody make a splash in the wrestling world, and then what do they decide to do? My light keeps turning off, but what do they decide to do? They decide to bring back one of their part-timers or legends. From The Undertaker to Goldberg, to Lesnar, to Cena, to Roman. Or not Roman, but to Shane McMahon, to Triple H, to Batista. It's the same thing every single time. At this point, it just doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't. It no longer makes sense. You are not going to top AEW by doing the same shit every single time. Bringing back part-timers. There's a reason why I didn't pop when Lesnar showed up on the screen yesterday. There's a reason why I didn't pop. Because I knew it was going to happen. I expected it to happen. I didn't have any source telling me that Lesnar was backstage. I didn't know Lesnar was going to be at the show. But I had a feeling he was going to be there. Because this is WWE's response to everything. Bring back Lesnar. Bring back Cena. Bring back Edge. And as much as I love some of those guys, at the same time, and right now in 2021, it's not enough. You cannot keep relying on part-timers to get the job done. You're not building any new stars. It's the same shit. You're bringing back the old stars, right? Who some of them are not even as good as they were in their prime, right? Because they're older. You keep bringing them because you think based off name value alone, that's going to be enough. They keep you afloat. But you're not building up any new stars in the long run. Even though WWE has so much talent, so many stars that they're not using correctly. WWE has more than enough talent to carry them on into the next 2 or 3 decades. If WWE wanted to, they could easily be better than AEW. Easily. And that's not disrespect to AEW. That's because WWE has everything they need to be AEW. But you have an old-ass, out-of-touch guy in Vince McMahon who does the same shit thinking that the tactics from 20 years ago are going to work now in 2021 when they're not going to work. They're not going to work. It's that simple. It's that simple. Stop with the same old shit. Stop. I'm saying it now all the time because I have a big video this week, and I'm not gonna talk about it too much. But I'm on the bet if you guys stick long and hard, you guys can figure out what it is. What's the topic gonna be, right? Because I said it earlier this weekend on the AEW Rampage review. I said it last night in my Sasha Banks, Becky and Bianca reaction video, and I'll say it again, and I'm gonna keep saying it. AEW is no longer the alternative to WWE. WWE has now become the alternative of AEW. AEW will not catch up to WWE financially. WWE will always be able to make money. And it's because of their arrogance on that, and because they make so much money, that's one of the reasons why they think they can get away with half the bullshit that they do. But the thing about it is, from a creative standpoint, AEW is leaps and bounds better than WWE. It's more entertaining. It's more for people that are actually fans of wrestling. WWE is just entertainment nowadays. All they care about is their money. They don't care about long-term storytelling. They don't care about making compelling characters. They don't care about shit. They just care about money. And it's going to hurt them in the long run. If you want real professional wrestling, you go to watch AEW. Because I'm saying this right now. This podcast is changing. This podcast is changing. Right? This is no longer a WWE podcast. For years, it has been a WWE podcast. Since the debut of the Legit Truth podcast over 3.5 years ago, even before that, this podcast has been going on for about 4 years. Ever since the debut of this podcast, I've mainly done WWE. I've talked about AEW here and then, right? You know, I've done AEW videos, but not many. But I've almost always stayed centric on WWE. That is changing, guys. That is changing. And if you guys can't figure out what I'm trying to say, WWE is not the only thing we're going to be reviewing now weekly. Because, you know, I can't take it no more. Last night, SummerSlam, it wasn't the worst show ever. It was the straw that broke my back, and I cannot take it anymore. I want WWE to succeed, and I know how they can succeed. And it makes me sick to my stomach how they keep failing and failing and failing. They make dumb mistakes. The littlest mistakes cause them to suffer, It's bullshit. It truly is bullshit. How bad WWE continues to fuck up. It doesn't make any sense to me at all how they let this bullshit happen. But SummerSlam proved last night that AEW is the new sheriff in town. WWE can make all the money they want and they can brag about their financial records. And WWE will be number one in professional wrestling from an entertainment standpoint just because WWE has been around for decades and decades and decades, right? And WWE has connections and partnerships with every big name network in the industry, from ESPN to USA to Fox, right? As long as WWE is making money, they will always have all the partnerships and the connections. But for real wrestling fans, for people who actually care about this industry and this sport and what it represents, AEW is the new number one, and it's undisputed. It really is undisputed, especially after watching SummerSlam last night. Right? And I know I'm going on a scathing rant here to start the podcast, man. But like I said, I spent the whole night and the whole day thinking about this, you know? And look, the truth has to be said. The truth has to be said. And if you're trying to deny it at this point, you're just blind. You're just blind. I can't sit here and defend this garbage no more. I can't. You really think Becky and Brock are going to be the ones to carry WWE and make them more important than AEW right now? No. CM Punk was just announced for AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. He's going to make his first official Dynamite appearance. And we will probably review that sometime on Thursday. I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited for Dynamite this Wednesday. Right? And we will probably review it. And the thing about it is, right? Oh, WWE, you know the market's gonna be, right? Oh yeah, Smackdown this Friday. Roman Reigns successfully retained his Universal title against John Cena. But then he has a new target coming after him, Brock Lesnar. Right? They're gonna advertise Becky and Brock heavily for Smackdown. Still, I don't care though. I don't care about that right now. Because AEW has the attention of the wrestling world. If Vince McMahon truly thought Becky and Brock were going to be enough to swing the wins in their favor and to get everybody talking about WWE again after the debut of CM Punk, they are dead wrong. Dead wrong. I don't care if you disagree with me or not. The truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. And we'll talk about it like we always do. I'll be sitting here doing my Raw and SmackDown reviews, right? I may do a different format for them, but still, it's just disappointing, really, how easily WWE fucks up. Vince McMahon is so out of touch that he thinks, oh, let me just bring back this superstar. That's gonna fix all of our problems. It's gonna fix our ratings problems, right? It's going to make people care about us once again. It's not that simple, dumbass. It's not that simple, clown. It's not. And everybody that's talking about, oh, let's see where this goes. Oh, this person's not buried, right? I cannot wait for this feud between these two individuals. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But WWE is no longer number one. They don't have my trust at all anymore. There's very few things that this company can get you excited about nowadays. This company is ass. Ass. And they should be ashamed of themselves for what they put on last night at SummerSlam. It may not have been the worst SummerSlam ever, but definitely it was nowhere close to being one of the good ones. No, not at all. Not at all. The booking of some of that shit last night was an absolute mess. Absolute mess. And there's no way anybody in that company should be proud of what they did last night. No way. Anybody that had a hand in the booking of those middle matches, the book of the middle part of that show, especially the women's division, they should be fired today. They should be fired today. Disgraceful stuff, bro. Disgraceful stuff. And look, like I said, I know I'm ranting a lot here, but I have to go on these long rants just so you understand. It's not simple enough for me to sit here and say it's bad. I gotta actually explain to you guys why it's bad. Because you'll have dumbass idiots in the comment section say, Summerslam was a good show, bro. Man, I'm so hyped for WWE programming. Becky Lynch is back. Brock Lesnar is back. But they don't understand the damage that's being done to the future of this company with the way they keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. Oh my gosh, bro. It's just the same old bullshit. It really is. It really is. Like, there you have it, man. 30 minutes. I just spent 30 minutes on an opening shoot, just going off about WWE and SummerSlam as a whole. I could always get in the review right now, but as always, that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through each match like we usually do, discuss it, and we'll do our thing, right? We'll do our thing. But let me take a look in the chat real quick. As always, Super Chat is open. I don't tell you guys to donate. I don't, it's up to you guys. You guys know every single time. Every time you guys donate, that money goes straight back into the channel, because we're trying to grow this podcast every single day and grow this movement. But let me take a look. Hold on, let me look. Anyway, let me just take a look. I'm looking at something on my phone. Did you guys see that the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer leaked? I just watched that before I started the podcast. Sorry about that. But anyway, sorry. I have a lot going on in my mind right now. I'm getting a lot of text messages about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, right? And we're live, so why not, right? Tiandre, the trailer is real, but think about it, it's a leak trailer, so it's not completely edited. It's not completely edited yet, so there are problems with it. But someone at Marvel is getting fired because that it's not a complete trailer, but it is in fact the real Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Anyway, let's get back to WWE here. So, like I said, I don't ask you guys to donate. If you guys choose to, I really appreciate it. Like, everything you guys give does get reinvested into the channel. I do see we have a couple super chats. So, first off, let me just pull my notes for SummerSlam. Give me a sec to pull up my my notes. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of SummerSlam, because I'm gonna be going through the chat at certain points. It's not just me. We're live streaming, right? This is not pre-recorded. So, basically, give me guys your thoughts in the comment section so we can talk about it, and in the chat as I'm getting everything set up. Give me a sec here, people. So I just found this article about the real winners. And before I read the article, of course, let me see. Brandon.xrls. I don't know. I don't recognize your name, so I'm gonna assume you probably are a new subscriber, because I know we do have a lot of new subscribers this this weekend. So I appreciate it as always. Right, you guys are amazing. So for the new subscribers, thank you guys. But Brandon.xrs with 2 super chats. Basically, he says CM Punk is the best thing that happened at SummerSlam. I completely agree. Right, CM Punk is easily the number one thing talked about this weekend. Easily, there was nothing on SummerSlam that could overshadow the return of CM Punk to the professional world. Nothing. And he also says SummerSlam was a disaster. 100%. They killed Bianca. Even though you misspelled Bianca, it's Bianca, but I completely agree, and we'll talk about that, right? I'm gonna say this: we won't talk too much about the SmackDown Women's Championship scene because I spent 40 minutes ranting on it last night, but we will mention it, of course. We will mention that. But before we get into the matches, I found this article from Bleacher Report that talks about the real winners and losers from SummerSlam 2021. So, basically, the first one that they have is Riddle. I completely agree. We found the loser, and like I said, we'll talk about all of these in depth in just a second. And they said the loser was Bianca. Easily, Bianca's the biggest loser coming out of Sunday. It's not even close. It really isn't even close. Who's the biggest loser? All right, you can make an argument for Nikki Cross or Rhea Ripley, but it's Bianca easily. So, like Bleacher Report says, WWE pulled the ultimate swerve with Bianca Belair. She was walking into a huge fight with Sasha Banks that could have been the match of the night. Which is true. Sasha and Bianca, their rematch was hyped up. So hyped up. And unfortunately, we didn't get it. And we still have no reason why and what happened with Sasha. And the longer we go without hearing any word on what happened in that situation, the more concerned I truly get. But they said because of an undisclosed injury, she was unable to compete. So they're saying it's an undisclosed injury right now. I don't know if that's true. That could just be language for something else, but that's what they're saying. But anyway, back to the article. It said Becky Lynch made a shocking return to challenge the EST and defeated her in 26 seconds with a pump handle slam. The promise of Belair fighting one of the biggest female stars in WWE history should have been special. Instead, this squash ruined the chance for fans to see a special match and devalue all the work Bianca did during her first reign as SmackDown Women's Champion. She was already somewhat discredited throughout her reign post-WrestleMania win by a poor selection of challengers. She deserved the chance to at least shine before losing to the man. It is possible Lynch was not ready to wrestle, but this does not excuse the booking. She should have not been performing if she were Rodnetti. Completely agree. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse for that ridiculous booking if Becky Lynch was not ready to compete. If Becky Lynch was not in proper ring shape, there was no reason she should have been given that title. You could have easily just had Becky Lynch come out and then just stare down Bianca. It would have been that simple. This is a dream match for some people. A dream match. And instead, you made it into a burial of Bianca Belair that people are going to talk about for months and months to come. Right? You made it into a burial that people are going to talk about for months to come. And now you got people hating on Becky Lynch because she came in and took back the spotlight when it's Bianca's time. And if Becky Lynch was not in proper ring shape and she needed more time, why the fuck did you have the match happen? Why? If Becky's not ready to compete yet, why did you give her the championship? That's the worst thing about all of this. I don't understand it. So, because of CM Punk's recent emergence in All Elite and the surprise injury to Banks, WWE hit the panic button and the EST suffered for it. It would take weeks and possibly even months for WWE to pay back Balor for this. While lesser in impact, it is worth considering that even the man lost here. She is one of the biggest stars in WWE. The decision took the energy out of the crowd, which greeted her as the big star in the company, but answered her with middling cheers. This is not Lynch's fault, and it's not Belair's fault. This is the fault of a company that continues to make the same bad booking decisions every time. I 100% agree with this. It's not necessarily Lynch's fault, but people are going to look at this the same way people look at Charlotte Flair getting constant title reigns. They're going to look at it, and they're going to be like, wow, right? Becky comes back, and the first thing you do, you have her squash Bianca in 26 seconds in her first match back. That's going to make people unhappy. You know? That might actually cause some people to turn on Becky. It really is. Because people love Becky Lynch, but people did not. Just because people love Becky Lynch doesn't mean that they're going to accept anything you do with her. Just because Becky Lynch is one of the biggest stars of the company doesn't mean that they wanted to see Bianca get squashed. That's the problem here, people. That's the problem. Becky Lynch, it doesn't matter if Becky is a star. That doesn't give her the right to be booked to squash a rising star like Bianca. Doesn't make sense. John Cena was the biggest star in the company for 10 years. But when he beat somebody that was a rising star, he got hated on for it. Do you want Becky Lynch to become like that? No, you don't. No, you don't. The reaction that Becky got to her winning last night with all those middling cheers was not good. It was not good. And anybody that tries to tell you otherwise is wrong. Completely wrong. Fucking bullshit, bro. But yeah, we'll talk about Becky a little bit more in a little bit, right? But let's get on to the actual show, because we're already over 40 minutes in. But Innocent You Riseby, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. He says, my second time joining while you were alive. Keep up the good work you do on this channel. Support from Numbia. Thank you. Like, I know I have lots of subscribers from different places, man, and it means the world to me, you know, seeing people from all over watching. You know, that's the thing, that people are watching and listening to me talk about wrestling, or just talk in general. It means a lot. It truly does mean a lot, right? And I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you for that comment, man. That really makes me feel very grateful. So I think it's about time we get into the SummerSlam show, and I do know, of course, we have NXT Takeover tonight, right? I will probably watch the show back on playback. I'm not gonna watch the show live, most likely. You know, I do want to watch Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross. I am excited for that. I'm also excited for Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez. I'm rooting heavily for Dakota Kai tonight. And we also have Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, 2 out of 3 falls. And, like, it could possibly be Adam Cole's last match in WWE. We really don't know what's going on with his contract situation, right? Because there's lots of rumors saying that his contract is going to expire after TakeOver. We don't know. I hope not. But Adam Cole could easily go over to AEW and be with Britt Baker if he wants to. Easily. That would not be hard at all, you know. People talking about a potential CM Punk and AJ Lee mixed tag team match with Britt Baker and Adam Cole and AEW. That would be huge. But like I said, I am hyped for those 3 matches on the TakeOver card, but I'll probably watch it back via playback, to be honest. Anyway, though, we're going to get into SummerSlam, because that's the focus of tonight's card, or tonight's review. So, let's get into it. So, on the pre-show, we had Big E versus Baron Corbin, you know, and basically, you guys knew Corbin stole Big E's Money in the Bank briefcase, because Corbin's been very desperate as they continue to go down this, like, homeless Corbin storyline. Corbin, you know, he's lost his money, he's lost his house, he's lost almost his car, and basically he's desperate by stealing Big E's Money in the Bank briefcase. But even though he can't really cash it in because it belongs to Big E, right? But Corbin believes that if he was somehow able to use the briefcase by him becoming a world champion, it will get him back, it would get him back to where he needs to be, right? It will get him back on the road of, turning his life around. And I'll give Corbin credit. He's done a pretty good job actually with this gimmick. It's not the best thing on WWE TV or anything like that. It's not like must watch. But Corbin's doing a good job, man. It takes a lot to, rock that look. Corbin has that receding hairline. He has huge bald spot in the back of his head. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for Corbin to, actually come out every single week looking like that, the gray patchy beard, white shirts with mustard stains. It takes a lot to rock a gimmick like that. It truly does. So love him or hate him, you got to give Corbin credit for what he's doing with that gimmick. And the thing I was hoping for is, of course, Big E to get the briefcase back and then probably save him cashing in the briefcase in the WWE Championship match. That's what a lot of us thought we were going to get to see. Because sure, they made you think maybe Big E could cash in on Roman here and there, but no. But it always made more sense for Big E to be the one to cash in on the WWE Championship. I will rant on that a little bit later, but that's what I thought. So I thought this was gonna be a simple match. Big E's gonna get his briefcase back, and then we'll see him possibly later on in the show. But we see that. But we see with the match, Corbin hit Big E with a deep six, right? Then we saw Corbin try to run off with the briefcase, but Big E bowed him over at ringside. He added a spear through the ropes and followed him with the big ending for the pinfall victory. So Big E got his briefcase back. But another thing that happened here was the return of Logan Paul. Logan Paul is actually supposed to be on Miz TV tomorrow night on Raw. Look, and this is part of my problem with WWE, right? Why the fuck would anybody care? Why the fuck would anybody care about Logan Paul? Nobody wanted to see Logan Paul. Nobody wanted to see. Nobody wanted to see Logan Paul at WrestleMania. He got booed out of the building at WrestleMania. Legitimately booed out of the building. Nobody gave a shit about him. But now all of a sudden, oh man, my boy Tyler's live. Hey, my boy Tyler's live, bro. Let's go. Anyway. My bad. I'm getting distracted. But anyway, right? Logan Paul, no one gave a shit about this guy at WrestleMania. So now why are you bringing him back now? What value is he going to add to anything on the main roster? Nobody wants to see him. People legitimately booed him. They brought him in to be a babyface. He got booed at WrestleMania. Now you bring him back for SummerSlam. He got booed again. And now you're going to bring him back on Raw tomorrow night. And you think people are going to care about him now? No. Nobody wants Logan Paul on WWE TV because he doesn't add anything. I got a clip from WWE's YouTube channel of Logan Paul doing an interview with Baron Corbin. I'll play it for you guys here.
I didn't realize.
But truly, what do they think this guy's gonna add? Are you gonna have him in a match? I don't want to see him box against anybody. I don't care. I didn't care when they brought in Tyson Fury. I didn't care when they brought in Floyd Mayweather all those years ago. I don't care to see this shit. He's not going to do anything for me, and he's not going to make the product better. He's not. Stop. Stop trying to use this guy. You brought him in the first time for WrestleMania. It didn't do anything. Why do you think things are gonna be different? Months later. You thought it was just a one-time thing that he got booed? No, people don't want to see him. Go do your YouTube stuff. Go do whatever you want to do. But none of us give a shit. None of us give a shit about Logan Paul and WWE. This is not his platform. This is not where we want him. Not where we want him. But I'm going to play the clip for you guys so you guys can hear it.
Excuse me, Mr. Corbin, tonight you suffered a tough loss against Big E and possibly the opportunity to keep the Money in the Bank contract. Is this the last we'll see of you?
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, Monday I have to file bankruptcy. I got no family. I got no friends. I mean, really, all I've got left is $35, and that's it. I mean, I just don't.
Vicky, congratulations on your victory and winning back control of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
I got my baby back from that Buster Corbin, and now that she's back where she belongs, tonight is one heck of a night to cash in. I might do it sooner, or maybe not, maybe later. I don't know. Hey! That was sick. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, mate. Yes, sir. See you around, bro.
Logan, what's your reaction of what you've seen tonight?
Look, I mean, that guy's got muscles on muscles. He got muscles in his eyeballs. Look, we're here, SummerSlam. Does it get better than this? It's hot, My pit stands are...
What are you doing? You were over there talking to me, now you're talking to him? I mean, why are you not still over there interviewing me?
Maybe because you're an asshole.
Maybe because you're an asshole? Really? Really? Seriously? You brought him back to say that? So you want what? You want to tease a match with Logan Paul and Baron Corbin? Is that what we're teasing for Monday Night Raw? Why the fuck is he here? What value is he going to add to the show? Someone explain that to me! When does WWE understand that bringing these damn celebrities is not the answer to the product? Stop relying on celebrities and social media stars. If it made sense, we would ask for it. Why don't you just focus on the talent you actually have instead of wasting valuable TV time on these dumbass TikTok stars or these YouTube personalities? Nobody gives a shit about them. Nobody. I don't turn on Raw or Smackdown or a pay-per-view to watch Logan Paul. No. If I want to watch Logan Paul, I'll go watch Impulsive. Or I'll go watch him box against Floyd Mayweather. If I want to go watch Logan Paul, and my sister just pulled into the driveway so you can hear me screaming, who gives a shit? If I want to go watch Logan Paul, I can go to his YouTube channel. I don't watch wrestling to see Logan Paul. I don't care that Logan Paul called Baron Corbin an asshole. I don't care about Logan Paul. I don't. I don't want to see him on Raw tomorrow night. I don't want to see him at all. Fucking hell, man. I can see there's videos Logan Paul walks through SummerSlam getting booed. And you got Logan Paul giving up middle fingers to the WWE crowd. Guys, nobody wants to see him. Nobody wants to see him. Fucking hell, man.
WWE Summerslam 2020 scheduled to take place on August.
Why the fuck are we wasting time on these clowns? Was WrestleMania not enough? You really brought this guy back. Thank God he was only on the pre-show, but still. Nobody wants to see this guy, man. Fucking hell, man. Fucking hell. Anyway, let's get back into it. Let's get into the actual show. Let's get to the actual show, SummerSlam. Enough with the kickoff. But anyway, the show started off with the Raw Tag Team Championship match between RK Bro, and AJ and Almas. This was one of only probably 2 matches on the Raw side of things that I actually cared about, right? The build for this match wasn't anything too special. It was mainly a 2-week story because Randy Orton only came back a couple weeks ago, right? But still, we saw basically in the last 2 weeks, Orton and Riddle go through it all. From not being partners, Orton wanting nothing to do with Riddle, to Riddle coming to save Orton, and Orton earning his respect, right? Or Riddle earning Orton's respect, to them being a team. This was, I wasn't surprised that this opened the show. I thought, honestly, that potentially either maybe something like Edge versus Seth Rollins, or maybe even the WWE Championship scene or match could start the show. But this match starting the show didn't really surprise me too much, right? And it was a decent match. It was a decent match. It was kind of short. It wasn't super long, right? Definitely with some of the matches here early in the show, they went a little bit shorter than I expected them to. This match was pretty fast-paced, and I think the match was like only around 10 minutes. I feel like they could have gone maybe at least another 5-6 minutes, but either way, it wasn't bad or anything. It was just a little short, that's all. So, Orton went for an RKO on Styles, but Almas pulled Styles to safely. Riddle wiped the big man out on the floor. Then AJ returned back to favor. Then in the ring, we saw Orton. He went for a pop-up RKO, but Styles reversed it. But, a couple more counters later, Orton was able to land a beautiful RKO on Styles, which Styles sold perfectly. And then they got the 1, 2, 3 for the victory. Orton and Riddle celebrated with the crowd, and that was that. So I wasn't surprised that they won. I would have been surprised if they lost, because WWE could have easily kept this going into Extreme Rules, and it probably will. We'll probably see a rematch between these two teams at Extreme Rules, probably with some kind of stipulation there, right? But for this was okay, right? This was okay. This was more of a feel-good moment to start the show, which I couldn't complain with, right? Orton and Riddle had probably the most intriguing storyline on Monday Night Raw going into the show. 2 completely different characters, 2 completely different personalities, right? A team that was meant to fail from the start, really, but them going on this journey together of highs and lows, and now they're the Raw Tag Team Champions. So, happy for Orton and Riddle. We'll see. They do have teams to face on Raw. They do have teams to face. They'll probably have a rematch here with AJ and Almas at Extreme Rules. But I would love to see a team like Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, built up to be the ones to take those titles off of Orton and Riddle. Right? It's time to build some new stars. I feel like Riddle in the long run is going to be better because of this partnership with Randy Orton. And I'm hoping whenever this does end that we can see Riddle in the main event scene where he belongs. Because Riddle has top babyface potential. He really does. I would love to see, whatever's the result of this. However long these two are a tag team, I would love to see Riddle go into the WWE Championship picture after this. Right? And Orton's Orton, and I feel like while we get there, right, however long these two defend these titles, I would love to see Mustafa Ali and Mansoor be the ones to eventually take those titles from Orton and Riddle. Definitely. Maybe like somewhere near the end of the year, right? Maybe around TLC, Royal Rumble time. I would love to see Mansoor and Ali get those titles. That's what I would do with the Raw Tag Team titles going forward. But, this was a simple feel-good story, right, that the crowd loved. And, I'm more happy for Riddle here than anybody. AJ and Almas Where do they go from here? Well, like I said, they're probably going to get a rematch. After that, I would personally break them up. I would probably break them up. I feel like it's time for Styles to go back into the main event scene, start going after the WWE Championship as well. You know, because I kind of feel like the main event scene right now for Bobby Lashley's WWE Championship is lacking. It is lacking. So I would love, like, you know, you break up Styles and Almas, right? Maybe like Almas costs Styles the Raw Tag Team Championships, and then you turn Styles back into a babyface. I would love to see AJ Styles as a babyface feud with Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. I would love to see something like that. So, you know, honestly, I would break up AJ and Almas. And usually I'm not a guy that likes to see tag teams broken up, but in this case, AJ and Almas never were supposed to be a long-term tag team. The fact that they've been together this long, you know, it's probably more of a testament to how good Styles is. But I would probably break these two up after the rematch with Orton and Riddle. You know, I feel like Styles, you know, he should be used in a bigger main event role. And Almas, I don't really give a shit about him anymore. The guy doesn't mean much to me personally. Okay, and that's my thoughts on that. But you know, good way to start the show. Good way to start the show. AJ and Almas, new Raw tag team, or not AJ and Almas, Orton and Riddle, RK Bro, the new Raw tag team champions. So we go from something decent to start the show to actually something very piss poor. Something very bad, actually. We went from that to Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. This was disgraceful. The fact that this match was even on the show is disgraceful, and it's one of the reasons why Vince McMahon should go. You know, Eva Marie has done absolutely nothing since coming back. Nothing since coming back. And if you guys remember correctly, I don't know if Anthony's in the chat, right? I know he was here earlier. But, you know, I'm starting to see what Anthony meant. Because last week, you know, if you guys weren't here for the Raw review, we talked about Alexa Bliss stealing The Fiend's character. You know, especially after WWE fired The Fiend. I'm seeing why it made him so unhappy. You know, because this match should have never been on the show. Vince McMahon has this addiction with both Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss. And it's just, Eva Marie sucks. She can't wrestle at all in the ring. And Alexa Bliss isn't that much better. You know, and the fact that this match was on the card, and you had names like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Cesaro, right? Apollo Crews. There's so many others. So many Ricochet. I can go on and on and on. So much talent that was not used on this show. Didn't have anything to do on SummerSlam at all. Talent that deserves to be on SummerSlam. Most of that talent was backstage at catering, doing nothing all night, while Alexa Bliss and Eva Marie had like a 5-minute match. This was terrible from start to finish. This was terrible. There was nothing good about this match. Nothing. You know, so this match wasn't even about the match. It was about Lily's doll. And the fact that these two have been fighting over a fucking doll is pathetic. It's one of the many reasons why the women's division is in shambles right now. You have storylines centered around a fucking doll. A fucking doll. Really? A SummerSlam match around a fucking doll. Oh my gosh. So anyway, we saw Eva Marie was able to get Alexa down. And instead of going to, you know, perform more damage on Alexa, Eva climbs onto the top rope because Lily was standing on top of one of the ring posts. She grabs Lily and she starts slapping Lily. So here you have Eva Marie sitting there looking like a fucking retard slapping a doll. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. She's sitting there slapping a doll. Bro, man, the shit with this company is ridiculous. Who thinks this is good creative? Who? When Bray Wyatt was the Fiend, right? When Bray Wyatt was the Fiend, I didn't see him slapping dolls. How is that a story? How is that a story right now? I don't have any stuffed animals in my room, but imagine that I don't have anything to use as an example. I don't know. I have this AirPod case, you know, with Goku on it, right? My AirPod case, right? Imagine me sitting in a ring. Or imagine me sitting on this podcast. Imagine you guys come listen to the podcast, right? Imagine you guys come listen to the podcast. You guys are here expecting to watch and listen to my thoughts about wrestling. And I sit here for 5 minutes and I'm just... I look like a fucking retard! I look like a retard right now! Slapping an AirPod case! How the heck can Eva Marie have dignity? Sit there. She's already bad enough as a wrestler. You're sitting there slapping a doll. Slapping a doll. People are paying to sit in those seats. People are paying to watch the show to watch somebody slap a doll. Does anybody understand that? No, does no one understand how pathetic that is? Slapping a doll. Oh my gosh! And then you have people, because I read a report. I read a report that WWE was the future of the Lily character, right? The future of the Lily character on WWE TV was going to depend on how many people bought the Lily doll at the Summerslam Superstore. Because it was heavily featured. I saw it on social media. They had those Lily dolls everywhere. If you buy that doll, especially if you're a guy, it's one thing if a little girl or whatever, like it's a girl, it's a kid. But if you're a grown-ass man and you buy that doll, I don't give a shit if you're an Alexa Bliss fan or not. If you bought that doll, you're pathetic. And you should be ashamed of yourself as a man. Really. You're spending your own money. You're giving money to these poor jackass fools. These dumbass people in WWE. You're giving them money for a fucking doll. You probably sit in your room and jerk off to that crap. Oh my gosh, Lily. Let me stop myself before I get myself taken off YouTube. But you guys get the point. A fucking doll. Oh my gosh. Fuck. A doll. Anyway, back to the match. The match wasn't anything special. So, after Eva Marie is done slapping the doll like a retard, Alexa got mad seeing Lily getting hurt. And then she started screaming and she went off on Eva. Then she won with a spike DDT. After the match, Doudrop, right? Because remember, Eva Marie slapped Doudrop on Monday Night Raw because Doudrop failed to get her hands on the said doll, right? Doudrop, amused by Eva's loss, got payback. She grabbed the mic and announced that Eva was the loser, you know, and then she put on Eva's robe and left the ring. Every second that Eva Marie is on television, more and more people flock to go watch Britt Baker in AEW. You're losing viewers and you're losing fans by the day, the longer that Eva Marie is on television. And if you like Eva Marie on WWE TV, you are one of the problems with this company, and you are a shame, disgrace. You are a damn disgrace as a wrestling fan. Simple as that. I don't give a shit. If you're a fan of Eva Marie and anything she does on television, you are a disgrace. It's that simple. And you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. So, moving on, man. I don't know what happens now with Alexa Bliss, right? Now I'm seeing what Anthony meant honestly, she should drop that character. She should drop that character. Even though there's moments where I've liked it, now that I'm seeing what she's doing with the character and how it's a spin in the face to Bray Wyatt and everything he wanted to do and the creative genius that he had that was stripped away from him from WWE, Alexa should just drop that character and go back to, I don't know, the Goddess, or go do something else. Because it's a spin in the face, really, to Bray Wyatt and anybody that supported him. Really. I don't hate Alexa Bliss personally. I don't hate her, right? But I see why this frustrates people. She should not be doing that character anymore. They're not doing anything anyway with the character, right? It's not like the character is anything that's must watch on TV, but she should drop the character now. All right? It took me a little more time, but I agree. Anyway, moving on. We had the United States Championship match between Damian Priest and Sheamus. I told you guys, for those of you guys who have been listening to the podcast since WrestleMania, I've been sitting here and saying that WWE should do this match for SummerSlam. That is fact. I've been one of the only people that have been heavily promoting this feud. I said the second that Sheamus won that United States Championship at WrestleMania, I said that Damian Priest should be built up to take that title from Sheamus at SummerSlam. Go back and look at it. Right? And this was like the only other match on the Raw side of things that I had any care for going to SummerSlam. Anyway, that was the only other I got people copying my damn thumbnails on YouTube, man. Fucking idiots. Anyway, I was one of the only people that said this match should happen, and it did. This was one of the more underrated matches on the show. This was a really good match, and because, like I said, Damian Priest is good, and I feel like Sheamus is one of the more underrated superstars of all time. When this guy Sheamus brings it on, the guy is great. I love Sheamus. And I'm honestly hoping that he goes back into the main event scene. I would love to see Sheamus get one more world title run before he retires. Excuse me. I would love to see that happen. So, basically, Sheamus dominated this match from the get-go, right? Dominated. He was in control. Priest fought back. He took flight with a perfectly executed heel kick from the top rope. Sheamus answered with an Alabama slam that drove the air out of his opponent for a 2 count. Sheamus then added a bro kick mid-flight. It was more like a jumping knee than a bro kick. But either way, bro kick, whatever you want to call it, who cares? But he caught Priest mid-flight, and Priest kicked out at 2 again. Then Priest survived a heel hook, ripping, the mace back from Sheamus. Then he started hitting Sheamus a little bit in the nose. Luckily, Sheamus' nose didn't take any more damage. Then he delivered a big kick that looked basically like a black mask, right? They called it a big kick, but it was basically like a black mask from like Aleister Black. So he hit it with a big kick that rocked Sheamus, and then he finished him off with the wreck ring for the win. I did hear some piped in crowd noise, and I was a little disappointed for that, but either way, I was happy that Damian got the victory here. I was very happy for him. It was a good match, an underrated match, actually. These two brought it. They hit each other hard. And definitely, I would love to see a rematch with these two at Extreme Rules, right? Maybe like a chairs match or a tables match. I would love to see some kind of hard-hitting stipulation where these two could get even more violent. Because, Sheamus, he loves a good fight. And Damian Priest, man, he's a hard-hitting big man. So I would love to see these two have some kind of stipulation at Extreme Rules for a rematch. This was good. like I said, I would love to also see Sheamus be put back in the main event scene. I'd love to see Sheamus be put back in the main event scene after this. You know, the guy is that damn good. He really is that damn good. You know, and like I said, I know if you notice, the first part of the show, they got a lot of the Raw matches out of the way early because most of the second part of the show was SmackDown matches. But still, WWE fucked up so much in the middle of the show, which we'll get into. But at least the first hour of the show was decent. Outside of Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss, right? The first part of the show was decent, in my opinion. Anthony says, when it pertains to in-ring matches, Sheamus has been the most consistent performer on the main roster, not named Roman Reigns. Sheamus can be world champion. I completely agree with you, brother. Completely agree. Someone tell me the last bad Sheamus match. Sheamus has put on great matches this year with the likes of Drew McIntyre, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle at WrestleMania. He's put on good matches with Ricochet. He's put on good matches with Humberto. He's put on good matches with Humberto Carrillo. Now with Damian Priest. Sheamus has been fantastic in the ring this year. Honestly. And like I said, I would love to see him back in the world title picture. Love to see him back in the world title picture. All right. But we'll see what happens. But Damian Priest is your new United States champion. We'll see where they go from there. So next up, we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Mysterios versus the Usos. These two have faced off a lot, right? The one thing I will say is I was happy that this match was on the show instead of the pre-show because at Money in the Bank, you know, when the Usos won the tag team titles for the 7th time, right? It was actually on the pre-show, which I still don't understand to this day, but I was happy that this match was put on the main show, right? You know, I knew it was going to be a good match, you know. The Usos are great, Ray is great, right? Dominic has his moments. But I knew there was no way this was going to be a bad match. Even though we've seen these two in the ring a lot. We've seen these two in the ring a lot as of late. But still, this was going to be a good match. And I expected the Usos to win. I would have been surprised if the Mysterios had won here, you know. But especially with the Usos completing the bloodline, right? They talked about it now for months. Right, completing the bloodline, having the Usos as the tag champions, and having Roman as the Universal Champion. You know, there was no way they were gonna end that soon, or this soon. You knew that. So this was a good match. Near the end here, Jimmy hit a super kick on Ray, and then hit another one mid-flight. Then he did a top rope splash, and I thought this was the end of the match, just like everybody. But Ray kicked out. And for a second here, I was like, wait a minute. You know, are Ray and Dominic going to win? Because I was very, very surprised that Ray kicked out of that top rope splash. But then we saw Jay deliver a front suplex on the ring apron that took Dominic out of the rest of the match. So then Jimmy and Jay, they hit Ray with a double super kick. And then they hit the double splash from the corners, which looks beautiful every time they do it. And then Jay hit the 1, 2, 3 to preserve their title reign. So this was a good match, right? Happy that the Usos won here. I love the Usos. You guys know that. I say this all the time. I believe the Usos are the best tag team in the world, not the Young Bucks. You know, even though, right, AEW has an amazing tag team division, right, I still think the Usos are pound for pound the best tag team in the world. I do truly believe that. But the big thing coming out of this match is it should be very, very simple and very clear where WWE should be going with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Going into the fall, for most of the fall, it should be the Street Profits and the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I said all in the first part of the year, it should have been the Usos and the Street Profits at WrestleMania for the tag titles. We didn't get it because Jimmy was not yet ready to come back, right? Unfortunately, we didn't get the match at SummerSlam. I mean, not sorry. Yeah, we didn't get the match at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam because Rey and Dominic were in the tag team title scene. You know, now that the feud should be over, right? Dominic and Rey, they've lost to the Usos now in 2 straight pay-per-views. Honestly, it's now time for the Street Profits to come out. It is now time for the Street Profits and the Usos. They had that one match when Jimmy first came back, which was great in the Thunderdome. Now, give it to me. Now, give it to me for most of the rest of the fall. I'm talking about through Survivor Series. I want the Usos versus the Street Profits feuding. I really think, you guys remember back in 2017 how good the Usos versus the New Day were during that summer into the fall? They had classics at every pay-per-view, from Battleground to SummerSlam to their epic Hell in a Cell match. The Usos and the Street Profits is one of my favorite tag team rivalries in modern history. I truly believe the Street Profits and the Usos can recreate that. I really do think that, right? You know, like I love the Usos and I love the Street Profits. This has been the tag team feud that I've been wanting all year. Now is the time to give it to us. Right? Imagine if they did like a ladder match at Extreme Rules. Imagine they did like a ladder match and Montez Ford does a from the heavens frog splash from the top of a ladder or something like that. Because Montez Ford has probably the best frog splash I've ever seen outside of RVD. Montez has an amazing frog splash. There's so much that they can do with this feud, you know. I really hope that's where we're going. It's simple. Give me the Street Profits versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships going into the fall on SmackDown. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. And I don't think anybody is going to disagree with me on that. No one is. Anthony says the Revival. Yeah, I'll give you that. The Revival, the Revival are great. I do think the Revival are way better than the Young Bucks. Fuck the Young Bucks. Fuck the Young Bucks. I hate the Young Bucks, bro. I really do. I think they're overrated as shit. I truly do. I'm not saying they're not a good tag team, but I truly do believe they are overrated as hell. But, the Revival, I didn't even think about them, bro, for a sec. They're great. The Revival are great. Great. Honestly, and you can make an argument that they are the best tag team in the world. I see Dilo says, how about the New Day? Yes, the New Day are up there as well. New Day are one of the best tag teams in the world. I don't know where they've been, though. I don't know. I don't know where the Young Bucks, not the Young Bucks. I don't know where the New Day are, though. Xavier Woods, he was on SummerSlam. He was in that segment with The Miz and Morrison, which I'm not really going to talk about because it's a waste of time. But Kofi Kingston, he has not been on TV since Bobby Lashley squashed him at Money in the Bank. I am still angry about the disrespect they did to Kofi Kingston at Money in the Bank. I don't know, if Kofi's going to come back a different person, right? But the fact that Kofi has not been on TV since Money in the Bank is very interesting. Both Big E and Xavier Woods were on the SummerSlam card. Kofi, I don't know what's going on with him. But, I do find it interesting that he's not been on TV at all since Bobby Lashley squashed him. But Anthony says, yes, but I want a serious Street Profits. Tired of these goofy tag teams like the New Day and the Street Profits. Be serious if the gold is on the line. That, I completely agree. But, I think back to that promo that the Street Profits did on the Usos when the Usos first came back. The Street Profits cut a beautiful promo on the Usos, right? Let me see if I can find that promo real quick. Why not? Why not? Because you guys know what we have to talk about next after this match anyway, and you guys know it's going to get a little bit depressing. So why not I play that promo with the Street Profits and the Usos real quick? Plus, I kind of need to use the bathroom for a sec.
Grammarly can help you write quickly and confidently, so you never have to slow down at work. Instant corrections make your writing.
Let me use the bathroom real quick.
Does go hard though. Mother, do my eyes not deceive me? My brother from another mother, it's the Usos. Uso crazy.
Uso crazy.
You hear this?
I hear
him. Brothers out here got jokes. Mario, Luigi, my bum knee. The truth is this, Usos. It don't matter if I've been on the shelf for a year or 10 years. The truth of the matter is this. The best damn tag team in the business is back.
Yes, sir.
Let me remind them who they talking to, Usos. Standing in front of you is the definition of a true tag team.
Yeah.
The 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, back-to-back Tag Team of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, soon to be 7-time WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
And if you say another word about Roman Usos, I'm gonna drop you where you stand. This right here.
It's family business.
And what you did was stick your nose right in the middle of it. Now,
we gotta get you.
You all on social media, Instagram saying this is a dream match. Welcome to the nightmare.
Welcome to the nightmare.
And after the night we beat you chumps, we just one step closer on becoming the 7-time Tag Team Champions, Usos. One step.
Oh, hold up. No. So you think we just some stepping stones? I mean, yo, I'll give y'all all the credit. Y'all used to run the tag division. But I got news for y'all, fam.
We run this division now.
I got news for y'all, fam. We run this tag division now.
I like that. Serious Street Profits.
Mario and Luigi about to drop these bricks on both your heads
to get my coins up tonight. You want the smoke? It's lit now. Welcome to the Usos Penitentiary. I love that shit, bro.
Coins up tonight, Luigi. Boom. Mario and Luigi about to drop these bricks on both your heads to get my coins up tonight. You want the smoke? It's lit now. Welcome to the Usos Penitentiary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. Right? It's not. Yo. But like I said, I need a serious Street Profits. You know, I agree with Anthony. We need a serious Street Profits if this feud's gonna work. None of that goofy shit. Right? The Usos don't play games. Roman Reigns don't play games. So if the Street Profits are gonna be legit challengers to the Usos, they gotta be serious. They gotta be serious here. Alright? Anthony says, been watching AEW. The Young Bucks are good. Not better than the Revival or the Usos. But like I said, no more goofiness. Be serious. Right? I agree. And yo, you know what's funny? I'm looking on my recommended page, right? Guess who just posted for the first time in 6 months? They just posted their SummerSlam review, right? AC from New York, squaring the circle, right? AC just posted a SummerSlam review. He hasn't posted since the Royal Rumble. I'm looking at his channel right now. That clown is back.
It's your boy.
Remember when that guy thought he had a better podcast than us? Remember when he thought that his podcast was better than the legit shoe? Get your clown ass out of here. Where you been for the last 6 months? Nobody gives a shit about you.
Dum da dum dum da da dum dum da dum 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 da dum dum da da dum dum da dum 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 da dum.
This is his review right now. He has a cardboard cutout of Brock Lesnar.
He has a cardboard. I'm coming back to steal the fucking spotlight. I'm
He has
coming
a cardboard
to hold
cutout.
the
A
WWE
cardboard
title for the
cutout
Universal
of
title
Brock
hostage.
Lesnar.
I'm coming to squash everyone and take all Vince money.
Just show your face so I can roast you. Show your face, AC.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, and he's wearing a CM Punk shirt. Still wearing that stupid ass New
Give
York.
me a fucking break.
Yeah, give me a fucking break.
SummerSlam
You're a joke
was
as a
the fucking best
podcaster.
SummerSlam of
You're
all
a joke.
fucking
You're back. You're back.
fucking
He's wearing a
people
2011
are
CM Punk
absolutely
shirt
fucking
with that ridiculous New York Yankees snapback. This guy thought he's better than me as a podcaster.
This fucking review.
He thinks he's better than me. Nigga, your channel is dead.
What else happened on this show?
Your channel is dead.
Jinder Mahal versus...
All your subscribers watch me now. They watch me. They listen to a real podcaster. They don't listen to your joke of a podcast. You're a joke with your dumbass New York snapback and your 2011 CM Punk shirt because you think you're so cool. And you have your title belts and your Funkos in the background. You're a joke. You're a joke. You're a joke. This guy, AC from New York. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, I just found that hilarious how his SummerSlam review was recommended. You know, I just wanted to check it out. The fact that he's still, he's a joke, bro. His channel's dead. Dead. Anyway. Like I said, Usos and Street Profits on SmackDown, man. As long as the Street Profits are serious and they don't mess around, this has the potential to be an amazing feud to carry the SmackDown Tag Team division going into the fall. Definitely. So we'll see what happens with that as the Usos retain. Becky Lynch, bro. The SmackDown Women's Championship situation. I'm not gonna spend too much time. I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about this. Because I got a lot of my thoughts out last night. I got a lot of my thoughts out last night about this. And I don't want to sound like a broken record on here. This entire situation with the SmackDown Women's Championship was a complete joke. Complete joke. All right? I don't know really what else to say, honestly. Look, like, you guys know the whole Sasha situation. I have no idea what happened. All I can tell you is, based on what Bianca said it was a rough week for Sasha. I don't know what that means. So we know that Bianca definitely probably has more knowledge of the situation than anybody else. Because, Sasha was supposed to be her opponent. But I don't have any clue if Sasha has COVID, if she has a legit injury. I don't know. But what worries me about this is this seemed to be planned, kind of. It seemed to be planned because immediately after this match, WWE Shop had a new Becky Lynch shirt already out. It's like exactly when Becky announced that she was pregnant, right? When Becky announced that she was pregnant, minutes later, they had the mom shirts already set to go on WWE Shop. They already had those shirts ready to go, And now Becky comes back last night at SummerSlam, and, they already have the man is back in Vegas. So it seems like this was kind of, planned for the return. I don't know if it was always planned for her to return in that instance, but, it does bother me that it seemed like this was sort of planned. I will say this, even though we have no idea what's going on with Sasha, we have no idea why she was taken out of that match, right? If this was some real plan, if WWE, and I personally don't believe this, but if it is true, because I have to mention this, if it was WWE's plan all along to have Becky face Bianca, If that was the plan all along, but even before Sasha was ruled out, if this was all some sort of plan, Sasha Banks should ask for a release today and go to AEW. It's that simple. I don't know. All right, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm saying it because I've seen it talked about on social media. If WWE had it planned all along for Becky to return at SummerSlam and beat Bianca, right? And maybe the event or the way the sequence of events happened differently. If that was the plan all along, Sasha should ask for her release today. Today. Because that is disrespectful on all different levels. On every level. Sasha should ask for her release tonight. Tonight. Right? And go straight to AEW. I don't care if she's viewed as a top star. That's disrespectful as shit. You market her in a match, right? Make everyone hyped up for one of the most anticipated rematches in recent memory. We've been talking about this rematch since the night after WrestleMania. Everyone said, oh, they should save the rematch between Sasha and Bianca for SummerSlam. For SummerSlam. And if it truly is the case that WWE never had any plans to do Sasha and Bianca, and Becky was going to come back at SummerSlam to beat Bianca the way they did it, Sasha should leave tomorrow. She should not come back. She shouldn't. She should not come back at all. She should go to AEW. Go face Britt Baker. It's that simple. It's that simple. I pray I'm wrong, and I pray that, this has nothing to do with that. And it's just that an emergency came out, and that's why Sasha was out. Right? But if it's that way, Sasha should ask for her release tomorrow. Because that is disrespectful as shit. And if Sasha leaves, I would probably stop watching WWE tomorrow. I probably would. I would just be AEW all the time, 100% of the time. I don't know. I don't have all the information. But that's what I think. That's what I think. That's what I think Sasha should do. If it's true that Becky was always planned to be the one to take Sasha's spot. But I don't know. As soon as I get an actual reason why Sasha was out, I'll make a video right away. I promise you guys on that. As soon as I get that information. Unfortunately, I don't have that information right now. I don't have that information at the moment. Okay? But let me look in the chat real quick. Okay, every time I talk about Sasha, every time I talk about Sasha, I gotta check the chat because you guys get excited. All right. But like I've been saying, the way this whole segment was done was terrible. If Sasha was never going to be there, right? If Sasha was not planned, right? Or if, whatever happened, we don't know the situation. I got to keep repeating myself. We have no idea still, 24 hours after SummerSlam, we still have no idea why Sasha didn't compete. We have no idea what happened. But if Sasha was not able to go, the match should have never been marketed. You should have never been marketed the match. You should have never had a whole video package done. You should have never. It's disrespectful to anybody that cares about Bianca or Sasha. It's disrespectful. Why the fuck would you do that to us? Why? You know how hyped we were for the rematch. If you knew the rematch couldn't take place, the second you knew that Sasha was not going to be there, no matter if it was last week or earlier this week or Smackdown, you should have said Sasha should not compete. You should have not kept us in the lingo, showing us video packages and making us believe. Pat McAfee sitting there on commentary, he didn't know that Sasha was not going to be able to compete. He tells Michael Cole, man, I feel like you just made me look stupid in front of, thousands of people watching. If you didn't know, if you knew that Sasha was not going to be able to go, the match should have never took place. Should have just canceled the match. How hard would it have been to say, okay, to say on SmackDown or make it a quick press release, right? How hard would it have been just to say, oh, Sasha's not going to be able to compete, right? Sasha's not going to be able to compete this week or at SummerSlam, right? We will find a suitable replacement for Bianca Belair. Or Bianca's next opponent for the SmackDown Women's Championship will be announced at a later date, right? You could have easily had Bianca come out. You could have easily had Bianca come out and said, okay, you know, whenever Sasha is ready and cleared to go, she'll get this work. And then if you want to have Becky Lynch come back, fine. No one's complaining about Becky Lynch coming back. That's not the problem here. The problem is that you booked Becky to beat Bianca in 26 fucking seconds. That's the problem. That's the problem. If Becky had come out and Bianca had actually had a match for 15 to 20 minutes, right? Nobody's going to complain. You know, yes, people would have been angry about Becky winning, but at least the backlash would not have been as bad as everyone's saying. All right? Bianca, in all honesty, Bianca should not be losing to Becky at all. If anybody Bianca should be dropping that title to, it's Sasha. And it still kind of makes me mad because it really does seem that Sasha would have won that match if she had been able to go at SummerSlam. But still, we'll never know because the match never took place. But still, if Becky and Bianca had been given a 15 to 20 minute match, the backlash would not have been this big. Still, yeah, there would have been some people angry about Bianca losing, but still, it's not as bad as being squashed in 26 seconds. All the work you put into Bianca, think about this, people. Think about this. All the work you put in Bianca, all right? All the work y'all put into Bianca, out the window. Out the window, right? Bianca, remember, Bianca almost being the sole survivor of Survivor Series. You had Bianca then be the Iron Woman at the Royal Rumble and then win the Royal Rumble. That ending sequence with Rhea Ripley was great at the Rumble. And it felt kind of special. Even though it was inside the Thunderdome, it felt special seeing Bianca win the Rumble. And then the hype we had going into that WrestleMania match with Sasha, even though the build was disappointing, people were excited for Bianca and Sasha, and they delivered, and they gave us one of the greatest women's matches we've ever seen, the best women's match in the history of WrestleMania. But I asked this question last night, right? If you knew Bianca's title reign was going to end like that, would you have given Bianca the title at WrestleMania to begin with? Some people said no. Some people said no. Some people said, yeah, but, you know, a lot of you guys said no. Here's another thing. Here's another thing I will ask. I'll say to you guys right now. If Sasha was healthy, if Sasha was able to go at SummerSlam and Sasha had defeated Bianca last night at SummerSlam, if Bianca had defeated Sasha at SummerSlam, right? Would you guys have been okay with Bianca defeating Sasha at WrestleMania? In my opinion, I would have rather just had Sasha win at WrestleMania and then have Bianca win at SummerSlam. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. We can't go back and change history. It's just my opinion. But still, the big thing is, if you knew Bianca's title reign would end that way, would you have had Bianca win the title to begin with? Because it feels like all the work that Sasha and Bayley put in to get Bianca over the last year just went out the window. Was a waste. It was a waste. And even though Bianca's title reign wasn't that special anyway, like outside the matches with Bayley, the reign wasn't that special because they didn't really give her any credible opponents. Bianca's title reign was more just a rinse and repeat of Sasha's title reign, right? Still, Bianca became a bigger star in the process. But it feels like all that work went straight out the window. And Bianca's right back where she was before she won the title at WrestleMania. Because her credibility has been destroyed. How do you go from beating 2 of the 4 horsewomen in good matches, but then you get squashed by Becky in 26 seconds? You lose all your credibility. You lose all of your credibility. What else are we supposed to say? What else are we supposed to do? It's bullshit if you ask me. It's bullshit if you ask me. I know NXT is not. I know Takeover's on right now. I know some of you guys are paying attention to this, right? So for those of you guys who are listening to me and watching Takeover at the same time, thank you guys for sticking with me. I know today it's a long podcast, but of course it's SummerSlam. They will be all right. But still, a squash match, man. Bianca's. I hope you guys understand. Bianca's not gonna recover from this as a babyface. She's not gonna recover from this. You know, people want to idiots on social media want to say, oh, let's see where it goes. No, fuck that. Fuck that. Bianca's a babyface that's not going to recover. Because if you have Bianca, let's say they do Bianca and Becky. Like I said, we don't know if Sasha's going to be back in time for Extreme Rules. We have no idea what's going on with that situation. So for right now, let's assume Sasha's out for right now. Right? You know, let's just assume that. As sad as that makes me to have to say, let's just say for right now, Sasha's not going to be there for Extreme Rules. If you do Bianca versus Becky at Extreme Rules, right? And Bianca wins her title back, that's going to make more people angry. That's going to make even more people angry because it'd be like, you really brought back Becky to squash Bianca just to give Bianca the title back? What was the point of taking the title off of Bianca in the first place? Because it didn't do any favors. 50-50 booking. Arguably WWE's biggest problem. Why are people going to give a shit about that? Why are people going to give a shit about that? That's going to make more people angry. You're not doing anybody any favors by booking that. Right? Yes, I feel like the best way, WWE's best way to respond to this would be probably to turn Bianca heel. Turn Bianca heel. Let the frustration of losing to Becky like that, right? And how she feels screwed almost, let her turn it back into the way she was in NXT. Because that was when Bianca was at her best. Bianca's fine as a babyface, even though the way she's presented on TV, it's most of the time I don't like. But Bianca is clearly at her best as a heel. Turn Bianca back into the heel she was in NXT. You know, that would probably be the best way to respond to this. I hear some people saying Becky could be heel. I don't see Becky turning heel right now, especially when she just came back. They're not turning Becky heel right now. All right? Right, you know? But I would turn Bianca heel. I feel like that's your only real response to this. Have Becky cut a promo on Friday on SmackDown and have Bianca brutally attack Becky from behind. That's probably what you should do. And then let the story play out from there. You know? I don't know from Sasha's perspective, right? Look, honestly, if Sasha is coming back, I would not have her win the title anytime soon. What I would do is I would have Sasha win the Royal Rumble. I know we talked about this, but honestly, I feel like the story's there. The story is there. Sasha's frustration, right? Sasha's frustration of feeling like Becky stole her SummerSlam moment, right? Becky stole her spot, you know, because of whatever reason Sasha was not able to compete. Sasha gets frustrated because Becky stole her WrestleMania moment. If you want, you could turn Becky heel, right? Have Sasha win the Royal Rumble in Boston, because we're hearing the rumors that the Rumble is most likely going to be in Boston, right? If the Royal Rumble is in Boston, have Sasha win the Royal Rumble and then go into WrestleMania and finally get that first WrestleMania victory. You know, like that's the only way I can honestly look at this. I can't look at this any other way personally. I can't. I don't know what else you should do. I don't. Yes, you know, the dynamics of having a Sasha and Becky match, right? Them having their feud again. You know, we're still waiting for a Sasha and Bianca rematch. Even though the hype was still there, but the excitement of that, since the match didn't happen at SummerSlam, people are going to be disappointed seeing that probably at a B-level pay-per-view instead of an A-level pay-per-view in SummerSlam. You know? Potentially doing Sasha, Becky, and Bianca in a triple threat. That could be great. There's lots of different ways this can go, but right now, I just don't know. I just don't know. But I feel like the best way to respond to the horrific booking that they did at SummerSlam is probably having Bianca turn heel. That's probably the best way to go about this. And if you think about it more and more, hey, by WrestleMania season, Bayley could be back. And if Bayley's back and she's still on SmackDown, who knows what could happen? Maybe this leads to a fatal four-way at WrestleMania with Bayley, Sasha, Bianca, and Becky. Who knows? There's many different ways this can turn out. But like I said, even though there's lots of ways the story could play out, still, a lot of damage was done. WWE did a horrific job with the booking of the SmackDown Women's Championship picture. All right? Becky got hurt, because Becky did lose some fans. Becky may have had everybody on her side at the beginning of the night. She definitely didn't walk out of that arena with everybody still on her side. So Becky may have lost some fans in the process. Bianca had heavy damage done to her. And, turning heel might be the only way to save this, if we're being 100% honest with ourselves. Sasha, at this point, Sasha didn't have any damage done to herself creatively, but personally, we just hope that Sasha's okay. Creatively, Sasha, that this doesn't hurt her because she wasn't there. She just was unable to compete. I just hope personally, whatever personally is going on with Sasha, I just hope that, physically, mentally, spiritually, she's okay. Because we know it's Sasha's had a long battle with this type of stuff. So I really do hope she is okay. And that we get to see her come back as the best version of herself, happy and healthy. Okay? But, that's really my 24-hour afterwards thoughts on this whole situation. The booking of this match, the booking of this whole segment was atrocious. And WWE has a lot of work to do. If they plan on fixing this. We'll see what happens on Friday with SmackDown. Right? I don't know if Sasha will be back. I don't. But if it was me personally, after this horrific booking situation, I feel like the best bet would be probably to turn Bianca heel. I feel like that would be the best bet. All right. So Anthony, if you're still here, what happened with NXT? Like I said, guys, I could probably I could actually let me do that. I'm gonna put Takeover on in the background. But Anthony says NXT just did what WWE should have done with Becky at SummerSlam. So I'm actually intrigued. So I'm gonna put SummerSlam on in the back, or not SummerSlam. I'm gonna put Takeover on. But let me know. I heard the Cameron Grimes LA Knight match was good. Let me see. Here's Peacock. So give me guys a second here. Need a little bit of a breather. Crazy as we're only about halfway through the review, really. Only about halfway through the review. This is a long-ass review today. Anthony says, what did Anthony say? Anthony said, WWE made Sasha lose too many big matches and expects us to care. I see what you mean there, but still, Sasha's still one of the biggest stars in the company. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. Yes, what I am worried about now that especially with Becky and Charlotte, right? Becky and Charlotte being shoved down our throats again. I am worried that Sasha's gonna go back to playing second fiddle. I am very worried about that. I still expect Sasha to be a star in that division, but I am worried about Sasha playing second fiddle again. But look. First, but before we can even focus on, what's going on with Sasha. Anthony, what the hell are you talking about? Anthony, bro, come on. You're going to tell me Sasha's not one of the WWE's biggest stars? Come on. I don't know. It's like I feel like you're trying to start an argument here. Oh, Walter's hard. Come on, I gotta disagree with you. Her biggest year was with Becky pregnant and Charlotte getting her breast stud. Here's the thing. Sure, you're right about that. We all know that. We all know that's a fact. But to sit here and say that Sasha's not one of WWE's biggest stars, look, you can say all you want. Yes, WWE prioritizes. We can say all we want. WWE prioritizes. And now you gotta be paying attention to NXT Takeover. But yeah, we can say all we want that WWE prioritizes Becky and Charlotte over Sasha and Bayley. You could say, yeah, you're probably right about that. But to say that Sasha's not one of WWE's biggest stars, still, despite the bad booking, despite all of Sasha's bad booking over the years, to say that she's not one of the biggest stars in the company, I just feel like that's ignorant. That's just ignorant to say. Right? The fact that Sasha's still as big a star as she has, even though we know that WWE has done her dirty so many times in the past. All right? And yes, Becky's booking has come to a point where it is being shoved down our throats. It is being shoved down our throats. And I hate to say that about Becky. Right? I like Becky. I do. But remember, Becky was the one who buried Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania last year. Right? Becky could have refused to retain that title. And we heard the reports of Becky. She said that she wanted to give Shayna the title at WrestleMania. You could have easily said, hey, I'm giving this title to Shayna whether you like it or not. I'm still going to be a star regardless. Becky could have easily said that, but she chose to retain against Shayna at WrestleMania. I completely agree with that. All right? And yes, Becky buried Bianca. You know, like I said, Becky may be great and people love Becky, but the thing about it is, she has been overpushed. Even after being gone for a year and a half, Becky has been overpushed. She beat Shayna at WrestleMania, and now she beat Bianca. I'm sorry. And here's one thing I want you guys to think about. Imagine if Sasha had been in Becky's position last night. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Say that it was set to be Becky and Bianca having a rematch at SummerSlam. And then Sasha was the one that returned, taking Becky's space because of unforeseen circumstances. Imagine if that was the case, what people would be saying right now. Sasha does one thing wrong and people bash her on social media. So imagine if Sasha come back and beat Bianca in 26 seconds. What the fuck would y'all been saying? Think about that for a second. All right? Look. Like, Becky's been overpushed. I know Anthony's been saying that for a long time. I said it last year when Becky was champion for 1 year and her reign was not special. Becky was overpushed during that reign heavily. She should have dropped that title to Shayna at WrestleMania last year. She should have done that. She should have done that. All right? And she squashed Bianca. So, honestly, you know, Shayna, who's an afterthought in the Raw Women's division, and now Bianca, right, who's been buried after SummerSlam, you can kind of blame those two on Becky being overpushed, whether you like Becky or not, right? Becky has been overpushed. Her and Charlotte, especially Charlotte, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But, you know, you cannot deny that Becky's been overpushed. You can't. The facts are, there's too many facts now. There's too much. There's way too much out there now. They say that it can't be denied. It can't be denied. Bro, Walter, man. If you don't like Walter matches, bro, you don't like professional wrestling. Well, every time Walter competes, man, it's like a 4 or 5 star match. This guy is fantastic. Holy shit. Anthony says Bayley and Sasha are greater than Becky and Charlotte. Is there any that's 100% true. 100% true. Anthony says okay with Becky on top. Okay with Becky and Charlotte on top. I want to see Sasha with a championship reign with both of those doofuses healthy and on the roster. Yep, that is true. The day we get, I pray for a day we get that. And maybe that day will come one day. Here's a question I got. How does Walter have abs and all that fat? This is Walter got a six-pack, and then he has, huge amounts of body fat around him. I'm not fat shaming him or anything. I'm just saying, I gotta give Walter credit, man. He has that body fat, and he has a six-pack at the same time. Walter, man, this guy is fantastic. Oh my gosh. Dog says, you can't blame Becky, it's Vince. Bro, if Becky wanted to go tell Vince, hey, I should not be Bianca. Hey, I should not be beating Shayna. She would have said that. She could easily make it happen. Easily. Becky, you think Becky's sitting there sad about Bianca? You think Becky's sitting there at home with the Smackdown Women's Championship and, breastfeeding her child? And you think Becky's sad that she beat Bianca in 26 seconds? Fuck no. Becky don't care. You think Becky sits at home sad that she beat Shayna at WrestleMania last year? Fuck no. Becky don't care. Becky don't care. You think Charlotte cares every time she buries someone with another women's championship reign? No matter if it's Nikki ASH or if it's Rhea Ripley? No. She don't care. God, look at this guy's veins. What the hell? Oh my gosh. No. Becky could have easily said no. Right? Bianca being built as a star is bigger than my return. Becky could have said that. Becky could honestly, a superstar can refuse a title reign. They can refuse it. But they don't care. Becky don't care that she beat Shayna. Becky don't care that she beat Bianca. Becky's not thinking about that. She's not sad about it. She's not. She don't care at all. Fuck out of here. So you guys can miss me that whole bullshit. Oh, it's not Becky, it's Vince. If Becky and Charlotte didn't want to have championships, they would tell Vince. They don't give a shit. All right? Becky has pullback sage. Charlotte has pullback sage. It's that simple. So fuck out of here with that. Oh, I don't care. Vince is the one responsible for the booking, not them. I don't care, bro. Miss me with that bullshit. So moving on. Next up, we went from the shit SmackDown Women's Championship, right? And like I said, this took the entire energy out of the crowd. The crowd was dead. After this. They did not care after this match. All right? Because as much as they love Becky's return, the same Bianca squashed. And then the emotion on Bianca's face as she was shocked. I said it. It felt like John Cena after losing to The Rock at WrestleMania 27. Or WrestleMania 28. Right? Cena is like Bianca's sitting there with her hands on her head. And her just sad. Right? Almost tears down her face like she couldn't believe it. All right? She couldn't believe it. It was like, damn. Like come on, guys. Like come on. Like Bianca just sitting there. Damn, this match right now. Holy shit, this match. Wow. But, fucking Walter's a beast. But anyway, man, like Bianca just sitting there with her hands on her head, man. Emotion down her face. People are not gonna forget that image for a long time. for a long, long time. Bro, and, you know, I don't know if Becky's ever going to... I don't know if Bianca's ever going to truly recover as a babyface because of that. So, moving on from that shit SmackDown Women's Championship situation, we then had Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. And like I said, you know, Jinder fucking Mahal! Right? Fuck, man. This match, I can barely pay attention to the review because this match is so good. But, Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. Look, the only reason why this match was even on the card was because Drew McIntyre is one of WWE's top baby faces. That was it. That was the only reason why this match was on the card. Only reason why this match was put on the card at all. Right? And like I said, there's nothing really to talk about this shit. You know, McIntyre owned Mahal in the first part. Then Mahal was able to take advantage in the second part, you know, trying to keep McIntyre off his legs, right? He was attacking his legs, because it would make it harder for Drew to stay on his feet. Plus, it would make it harder for him to deliver the Claymore kick. But then Drew fought back, and then he put Mahal with a Claymore, and then, Shaky and Veer came to collect their leader. So Drew won, just like we all knew, right? The match was shit. And after how bad after how bad the SmackDown Women's Championship match was, right? The fact that they put this match on it afterwards showed you how much they didn't care, right? You go from that dumbass shit with Becky and Bianca to this, a match that nobody had any care about. It really took the energy out of that crowd, really. This is the middle part of the show is why this pay-per-view, it was not a good show in my opinion. Terrible. So, moving on from that, we went to the second women's match on this card. And it was the triple threat with Charlotte, Nikki ASH, and Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. The match itself wasn't best. All right? It wasn't a bad triple threat match. If you guys remember last night, I was recording my Bianca rant video while the match was going on in the background. I'll be honest with you guys, it was not a bad match. But the thing about it is, I don't care about the match because of the ending. I told you, if Charlotte won this match, it would not matter how good. It could be the greatest triple threat ever. If Charlotte won this match, nobody was going to care. Nobody was going to care. Nobody was going to care. Okay? So we had the triple threat match, right? All three competitors took to the skies at different points in the contest. Ripley hit Flair with a missile dropkick. Nikki did the crossbody that took out her challengers at ringside. Then Charlotte did her normal, disgusting moonsault from the top rope, right? Charlotte does the same shit every single match. People think Charlotte's good because of a fucking moonsault. When she does, the moonsault is awful. And she does it every single time. That moonsault isn't good. Why do people think a Charlotte match is good? Because of a moonsault. Get your head out of your asses. Put your dicks back in your pants. Grow the fuck up. Her moonsault is overrated as shit. So she did her moonsault. Ripley hit a riptide on Nikki Cross. Charlotte broke up the pin. Right? Charlotte tried to do a crossbody, the same crossbody that won her the title, but it didn't work. She crashed and burned. And then Charlotte seized the figure eight, and then Nikki, with nowhere to go, was forced to tap out. Charlotte gets another title victory. Here we go again. Is Walter going to tap out? Here we go again, man. Is Walter going to tap out? No, he's fighting out of it, bro. Wow. But he still has it in. We'll get back to the Charlotte rant in just a second, man. But are you guys watching this shit, bro? What a fucking match. Holy shit. Come on, Drago. Come on, Drago. Oh! He tapped out! Oh! Oh! Oh my gosh! William Drago is the new NXT UK champion. Ending one of the greatest championship reigns. Walter. Wow. Wow, I'm in shock right now. $870-day reign. Think about that for a second, guys. Think about that. 2.5 years. 2.5 years. Walter held that championship. Wow. Holy shit. So, like, this has to mean Walter's probably going to go after the... What would make perfect sense is Walter... What would make sense, man? Oh, man. Williams... Oh! And William puts his feet... Oh! William puts his feet on Walter! Puts his... Dragunov, man. Dragunov puts his feet on Walter. Puts his hand in. Symbolizing his victory. Wow. What a title victory. He deserves it. This is a special moment, guys. This is a special-ass moment. Congratulations to Dragunov. Walter, what that means for him, clearly, you know, if anything, you're going to put him on the NXT main roster and have him go after the NXT championship, right? If Samoa Joe beats Karrion Kross like we expect him to, and Karrion Kross is sent to the main roster, you know, Walter's the perfect guy. The perfect guy you can build up to take that title off of Samoa Joe. Perfect. But that's a great match. But let's get back to SummerSlam. Right? I'm guessing the NXT Women's Championship match would be next. I'm guessing, but still. Anyway, like I said, here we are again. Charlotte Flair is fucking champion. What does this do for anybody? Right? We get it. Right? Charlotte is just, you know, I think Charlotte's overrated. I'm not saying Charlotte can't compete in the ring. I think she's heavily overrated. But when you have her beat everybody and she wins title after title, it kills credibility and effectiveness of the division she's in. She's already won the title twice this year. She won the Women's Tag Team Championships at the beginning of the year. Right? Look, man, you're not building a women's division. You're just building Charlotte's empire. That's what it is. It feels like a monarchy. Like those things you read about in history, about dictators. You know? And then we got Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million champion, congratulating Cameron Grimes and become the $1 Million champion. Cameron Grimes is hilarious. But yeah, like I was saying. Oh, that new Samoa Joe shirt looks fire. Oh, William Regal and Samoa Joe, bro. I'm legit watching Takeover and reviewing SummerSlam at the same time. I love Samoa Joe, bro. Let's go, Samoa! Let's go, Joe! But anyway, back to what I was saying. Bro. Look. Does no one understand the problem with Charlotte as champion? Really. Anytime Charlotte wins a title and then she loses it, it doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel special because you know that Charlotte is going to get the title back. Every single fucking time. So it doesn't matter if it's Nikki Cross or Rhea Ripley or whoever it is. You know that Charlotte's going to get that title back eventually. She wins the title 2 to 3 times a year. Nobody gives a shit. She doesn't do anything to add to that title. It feels like a monarchy, and nobody gets over. It's Charlotte's division. Nobody grows. Nobody becomes a star in the process. What does it do for Rhea Ripley? Rhea Ripley has lost to Charlotte how many times? Rhea Ripley has never beat Charlotte clean 1, 2, 3 for a championship. Never. Never. And she probably never will. It doesn't matter. Rhea will never be seen as a credible threat to Charlotte because Rhea can never get the job done against Charlotte. Never. Right? And now, with Nikki Cross, Nikki, you've buried her. She's done. She's done. Nikki will never get back to the top. I hope Nikki enjoyed her 5 minutes of fame. And I like Nikki Cross. Truly. And I feel bad for her. But she's done now. She will never get back to the Raw Women's Championship. She was even over because WWE did a horrific job of booking her as champion. The week after she won the title, after she cast in on Charlotte, she lost to Charlotte in a one-on-one match. Then the week after that, you had Nikki beat Charlotte in a no-holds-barred match, right? And this was supposed to make people believe in Nikki Cross more. But then the week after that, you have Rhea Ripley beat Charlotte clean. Clean. You have Rhea beat Charlotte clean. I mean, no, not Charlotte. You have Rhea beat Nikki clean. And it doesn't mean anything to anybody. This Adam Cole Kyle O'Reilly promo. Holy shit. Yo, this video package is amazing. And I pray this is Adam Cole's last day in WWE. But if he leaves, he's going to AEW, of course. Right? It's not like... I love Adam Cole, man. Here's the thing: if Adam Cole goes to AEW, it's not sad or anything like that, right? Because I'll just go watch him in AEW. It's that simple. I would just watch Adam Cole in AEW. But still, bro, it would be sad because Adam Cole has done so much. Adam Cole is one of the greatest superstars in the history of NXT. And if you deny that, you're an idiot. He is easily one of the greatest stars in the history of NXT. And this could be his last hurrah tonight. Is undisputed. Oh, shit. I knew he was going to say that. This is a really good video package. Woo! Yo, the music! You got the choir music! Oh, shit! Woo! Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. Holy shit, the undisputed finale. This is the end. This is the end. You know, Bobby Fish was released. Bobby Fish was released. And Roderick Strong is in the Diamond Factory faction, whatever it is, or the Diamond Mine. Adam Cole could be leaving after tonight. Kyle O'Reilly will stay in NXT. We know that. But still, though. This is the end of it. This is the end of the Undisputed Era. This is the end. This is an Undisputed finale. I will agree with you guys on there. But either way, wow. But like I said, man, back to Nikki Cross, you know, you had her lose to both her challenges before SummerSlam. You did nothing. You did nothing to make Nikki Cross believable as a Raw Women's Champion. Why the fuck did you have her beat Charlotte if you're going to give Charlotte the title back? Why? Do you really think Charlotte giving her 20,000 championship reigns is going to make us care? Really? Because real fans know it's not about how many times you hold a title. It's about what you fucking do with that title. And Charlotte does nothing with that championship. Nothing. She's not special. She isn't. She's an overrated piece of shit. That's what she is. Here comes Adam Cole. They should have never changed Adam Cole's theme song, man. They should have never. They should have just let him. They should have just let Adam Cole keep the Undisputed Era theme song, since he was the star of Undisputed Era. Just like they had Roman Reigns keep the Shield music for all those years. Look, this theme song's not bad, but still, man, Adam Cole without the Undisputed Era theme song just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right, bro. Adam Cole talking his shit, the greatest NXT superstar ever. And I honestly believe that. He is one of. When you look at it, you have Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole. Those are the three greatest NXT superstars of all time. All right? You have Samoa Joe and Finn Balor up there as well. Right? And then you have the Four Horsewomen. You know? But still, man. But still, bro. And Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly going right at each other. Let's get back to SummerSlam. But like I said, look, Charlotte doesn't add anything as champion. It's legit a monarchy. It's really, that's what it is. Charlotte Flair is the top, right? And no matter whenever she loses, you know she's gonna come back and reclaim the crown. Nikki Cross will never recover from this. Rhea Ripley will never recover from this, because it will never be believable that she could beat Charlotte. And even if one of them was built up to beat Charlotte, Charlotte would be built back up to take the title back. It's the same repetitive garbage. How many SummerSlam matches has Charlotte won at this point? How many title victories has Charlotte had? She's won at every major pay-per-view multiple times. What is this? Her sixth? This is Charlotte's what? I believe this is her sixth Raw Women's Championship reign. And none of them feel special. None of them feel special. And look, you look at the Raw Women's division. You look at the garbage that's there right now. You have Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. Neither one is believable to beat Charlotte. Eva Marie, garbage. Doudrop, garbage. Alexa Bliss, garbage. Asuka hasn't been on TV. And even if Asuka was, I'm tired of that. We've seen Asuka versus Charlotte too many times. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Even though I guess a Shayna and Charlotte feud would be promising. But the thing is, Shayna has been a jobber all year. Shayna has not been built up correctly. So Shayna versus Charlotte, why would anybody believe that Shayna would defeat Charlotte? There is nobody believable right now to defeat Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. Nobody. And until the WWE draft, it's going to be that way. The Raw Women's division is in absolute shambles, and WWE has themselves to blame with. Because you want to overpush and stuff Charlotte Flair down our throats, then now everybody suffers. There's nobody in that division believable right now to take the title off Charlotte, and it is sad. It is sad. I don't know who takes that title off of Charlotte. Maybe Bianca gets, drafted to Raw in a couple months, and she's the one. I don't know what happens now. But this is what you get when you overpush Becky and Charlotte. When you put them above everybody. When you have Becky and Charlotte as the only ones to be the champions all the time. When you had them overpushed all the time. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Right? Last year or a year and a half ago, right? Remember after Money in the Bank. Remember, you had Charlotte as the Smackdown Women's Champion, and you had Becky as the Raw Women's Champion. Nothing changed. Now the roles have reversed. Becky's the Smackdown Women's Champion, and Charlotte's the Raw Women's Champion. It's shameful, really. It's just truly. Oh, wow. Kyle O'Reilly already beat Adam Cole. That was like 5 minutes. Damn, they had Kyle O'Reilly beat Adam Cole in 5 minutes? What the fuck? By a roll-up? Damn, these two other falls best be long. Damn, they're like, damn, I'm expecting these two to go at it for like 30 minutes. So, I guess now they're on the street fight stipulation. I'm surprised that they had Kyle O'Reilly win in 5 minutes, but I'm guessing they just want more time dedicated to the street fight and the cage. So, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, Kyle O'Reilly wins the first fall in 5 minutes. All right, so back to it. But, like, look, man, there's really no, it's not believable. This is what you get, WWE, truly. When you just put Becky and Charlotte as the faces of the division all the time. You really don't have anybody believable to beat them. You don't. Sasha's the only person really that's believable to beat Becky on SmackDown, but we have no idea what's going on with Sasha. We don't know when Sasha's going to be back. Bayley won't be back till next year. Asuka, nobody wants to see Asuka versus Charlotte anymore, to be honest. And who knows now with what you've done with no one knows what's going to happen now, right, with Bianca. So right now, the Raw Women's division, there's no clear direction for the future. And this is what you get when you push Charlotte over everybody else. You want to make her look like the greatest of all time when she's not. She's an overrated piece of garbage. That's what it is. That's what it is. Nikki Cross is buried. Rhea Ripley is buried. The entire Raw Women's division is buried. And right now, there is no excitement for the Raw Women's division coming out of SummerSlam. There is none. And and that's just the truth. I have no idea what to expect from the Raw Women's division going forward. I don't. And I don't really care. Because WWE deserves to suffer. The Raw, this is what you get. This is what you get. What? Are you going to have Alexa Bliss with the Fiend character be the one that defeats Charlotte? Can't wait to see how that happens. Can't wait to see all the Bray Wyatt fans get angry at that decision. It's ridiculous how overpushed Becky and Charlotte have been now. It's ridiculous. And now you see the suffering of the division because no one is believable. Nobody's believable to take those titles off those two outside of a couple people who we don't even know what's going on with them right now. This is what WWE gets. Shame on them. Shame on them. Keep pushing Charlotte Flair. Keep pushing Charlotte Flair and see how many people just don't give a shit. You want to make Charlotte look like the greatest of all time, but she's not. Real wrestling fans, real wrestling fans will never recognize her as the greatest. Because she's not. She's not. All right? Terrible. Next up, we had Edge versus Seth Rollins. This was one of the matches we were hyped about for SummerSlam. Right? Edge versus Seth Rollins. Man, I thought this match could kind of take place at the beginning of the show, but they decided to put it in the middle part of the show. Like I said, you know, it was hard for me to enjoy this because I was still depressed about what was happening with Sasha Banks in the SmackDown Women's Championship picture, you know? But I will say this in all honesty. Edge now is better than he was in his prime. Edge now is better than he was in his prime. Easily. Right? Because look, bro. Edge this year alone. Right? Edge this year alone has had 2 of the 3 best main roster matches. You could argue that you could honest that Edge has had 2 of the 3 best matches of his career over the last couple months. You had the match with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. And then you had this match last night with Seth Rollins. This was a dream match that delivered on all levels. Edge and Seth Rollins were fantastic in this match. The storytelling, the in-ring action, all of it. It was great. It was great. Edge and Seth Rollins were fantastic here. I knew this was going to be a good match because it was one of the 3 big matches we were hyped for going into the show. Even though Sasha Bianca never happened, the hype for this match still stayed. It was just hard for me to enjoy it. But I went back and watched this match this morning, and it was just great. Edge now, at almost 50 years old, is probably better than he was in his prime. I don't know where he found it, but he has come back, man. When he said that he was going to come back and redefine his career on his term, right? How he was going to end his career on his term, sorry. When he said that he was going to end his career on his terms, man, like he truly meant that. He has been so good since coming back. So good since coming back. So Edge came out. Well, first Seth Rollins came out, and he was in like a pirate outfit, right? The jokes and the memes about Seth Rollins on social media, they were hilarious, right? Edge came out of a pit of fire. This was clearly a huge Easter egg to his days as the Broad, very early in the Attitude Era, right? Huge Easter egg. So he came out of fire. That was fantastic. And then midway down the ramp, he gets in this pose, and then he gets in this rated R stance, and then his music starts playing. The crowd went absolutely insane. Fantastic moment. Edge comes out to the ring with his epic entrance. I love the ring gear with the black and red, man. Edge's ring gear these days, bro. That's no matter if it's right, one day it's white, red, and gray. Another day it's red and black. Another day it's red, gray, and maroon. Like, Edge's ring gear is really goated. So we get to the match, right? Seth Rollins, went after the neck, and we knew he was going to. And the story here is basically, could Seth get the stomp? If Seth could hit the stomp on Edge, that was all it was going to take. So Edge attempted a comeback. Rollins leaped to the top rope, right, and delivered a superplex. Then he did the Falcon Arrow, right? Every time he does it, it looks beautiful. One of the best looking moves in the industry. Then Rollins went for the stop, but Edge dodged it. Seth, what happened? Seth went for the pedigree. Edge countered into a grand slam. So basically, a huge Easter egg to his wife, right? Because Beth Phoenix, that was her finishing move. So that was a huge Easter egg. So that was actually pretty cool, right? Basically paying homage to his wife. Then Edge added a spear through the ropes and drove Rollins face first into the edge of the ring. That broke the LED board, which was a pretty cool visual. Then Edge went for a spear, but Rollins caught him in a mid-move with the pedigree, which looked beautiful. Beautiful. The counter into the pedigree was a beautiful looking spot. Then Rollins tried for the Phoenix Splash, but Edge rolled out of the way. He delivered a spear, but Rollins kicked out. So that was a fantastic looking near fall. I thought because this was the second spear of the match, I thought it was gonna end here. But that Rollins kicking out of that spear, man, that was an awesome way to end the match, or not to end the match, but an awesome near fall. Look, man, NXT Takeover is kind of messing with my thoughts here. Rollins tried for the stop again, but then Edge stopped him and applied the Executor. Then he applied a crossface, right? And then he smashed Rollins' face at the mask. Talking about, and this was a good Easter egg to that violence that Edge promised to deliver to Seth. Edge knew he was going to have to be very violent to win this match. So he applied the crossface and smashed Rollins' face into the mat, and then Rollins had no choice but to tap out. So I liked how the match didn't end with a spear or a curb stomp. The match ending with a violent submission was the perfect way to end it. Perfect way to end it. So I really liked how this match ended. Edge and Seth did everything here, to make this feel special, and it really did. Really did. Like I said, I didn't get to enjoy this match the first time because I was depressed over what happened with the Smackdown Women's Championship. But getting to watch this match back earlier today really made me enjoy it and grow and have more of an appreciation for it. Edge is better than he ever was. I don't know what happens with Edge now, right? This could be Edge's last match of the year. Could be Edge's last match of the year. I would not be surprised if we don't see Edge again until the Royal Rumble, right? Going into WrestleMania season. And if it is, man, the guy deserves a break. The guy has been fantastic. Winning the Royal Rumble, then being part of that amazing WrestleMania main event with him, Roman, and Bryan, right? Then the match he put on with Roman at Money in the Bank, that was great. And then this match with Seth Rollins was fantastic. So if Edge is done for the rest of the year, man, look, the four big matches he had, those alone made this a career year for Edge. Really, man. What this guy is doing at his age. Look, you look at the part-timers now, right? You look at the part-timers now, outside of maybe Brock and Cena, there's no other part-timer that can do what Edge is doing at his age. No other part-timer. And to have, in my opinion, 2 of the 3 best main roster matches of the year, great, man. Like, I think right now it goes the WrestleMania main event with Edge, Roman, and Daniel Bryan. Then I would have Sasha and Bianca and their match, and then I would say this match with Edge and Seth from SummerSlam. Those are the 3 best matches of the year from the main roster so far. And the fact that Edge has been in 2 of them at his age, bro, it's just fantastic. He has everything to be proud of. Everything to be proud of, man. And it makes me excited for what Edge does next, right? I believe Edge is a free agent, so I would love to see Edge have a match with AJ Styles next. I feel like that would be the next big match. Or a match with Drew McIntyre. Those are 2 opponents I would love to see Edge mix it up with next. Possibly going to WrestleMania season next year. So maybe if WWE wants to do like a heel Styles versus a babyface Edge for WrestleMania or the Rumble, that would be great. I feel like that should be what they should do next with Edge. Rollins, we know that Rollins wants to go after the Universal Championship, and people have been getting in his way. No matter if it was Edge, now Cena, now Brock, right? So maybe Seth goes after Brock, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Seth now, because Seth's been adamant that he wants the Universal Championship. But all these legends and part-timers, keep coming, keep getting in his way. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know necessarily what's next for Seth. Maybe feuding with Big E. I have been saying that that's something that they could do. Or maybe you can always do maybe Seth versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. So there are options. They are options. But it will be interesting to see what they do with Seth now, especially since he lost. Because Seth has been very adamant how he wanted to be Universal Champion again. But clearly, him losing the Edge, that's gonna put a damper in those plans. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Edge and Seth Rollins. But fantastic match, fantastic story. Both should be very proud of what they did last night at SummerSlam. So Adam Cole just beat Kyle O'Reilly in the street fight. So now it's 1-1. And now they're going to a steel cage. The third fall. So moving back to SummerSlam, we had the WWE Championship match, Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley, right? And you guys knew my thoughts on this since the beginning. You guys know I never cared about this match since the beginning. I never cared about this. Never cared about this, right? The fact that Goldberg, every time Goldberg comes back, and especially when he gets a championship match, it is disgraceful. It is disgraceful. And the steel cage match is beginning, and Adam Cole is beating the shit out of Kyle O'Reilly. But it is disgraceful every single time. Every single time Goldberg comes back, it's a disgrace to wrestling. And more, it makes me go want to watch AEW full time. More and more. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You guys know how I feel about Goldberg. And this is just another example of that. They actually tried to make this into some kind of match. You know, it wasn't just finisher like every other one of Goldberg's matches. They tried to make this into a believable match. Goldberg tried to actually wrestle, and it made things worse because it showcased how bad Goldberg is and why he doesn't belong in a wrestling ring at his age, right? So basically, the match begins. The two are looking on at one another. You know, all of a sudden, they actually locked up. They locked up. How many times has Goldberg fucking locked up with somebody in his career? You know? Like, come on, bro. The first time I saw that, I was like, really? I was like, this is seriously what we're doing to start this match? They're locking up? You know? So basically, Goldberg had the advantage. He's doing clotheslines in the corners, body slams, power slams, but they didn't look really that good. They didn't look that good. He even did like a world's strongest slam a la Mark Henry, right? But he wasn't able to get any of his finishing moves on Lashley. All of a sudden, Goldberg went for a spear, but then MVP took Lashley outside the ring. But then Goldberg still hit a spear on Lashley outside the ring. That looked terrible. It looked awful. An awful spear. Nothing special about it at all. So then he went for another one in the ring, and then MVP whacked his knee with a cane. And bro, it took Goldberg legit 5 to 10 seconds to actually start selling the knee injury. At first he no-sold it, and then it was like, ow. You know, he was trying to act like, you know, the adrenaline, you know, didn't wear off till like 5 seconds later. This was bad. This was bad. So he whacked his knee with a cane, right? Then, you know, Goldberg did a terrible job of selling it, you know. Then Lashley hit with a chop block. Bro, Goldberg's selling in this match was awful. Awful. So Lashley falls with a chop block. Goldberg's doing nothing to sell it. All right. And then he sent Goldberg into the ring post. And then, you know, what was so bad about this, basically the fans were on Lashley's side. They're on Lashley's side. WWE tried to put in those piped in boos because Lashley was supposed to be the heel here. But clearly they were on the side of Bobby Lashley. Because they knew nobody wants to see Goldberg in the ring. The guy's a disgrace to wrestling at his age. And every time he rings, it just shows how much of a selfish prick the guy is. So basically, Goldberg could not, you know, sell the leg injury at all. So then he collapsed to the mat, and the referee had to call for a bell. So the WWE Championship match at SummerSlam, right? arguably the most important title in the company, the most important title in the wrestling industry outside the Universal Championship, right? At SummerSlam, your second biggest show of the year, one of the biggest shows of the year in the wrestling industry, ended because of a referee stoppage. How shameful is that? How shameful is that? This match ended because of a referee stoppage. This was one of the worst WWE Championship matches in WWE history. All right? One of the worst WWE Championship matches in SummerSlam history. Probably worse than Shinsuke Nakamura and Jinder Mahal. Probably worse than Nakamura and Jinder Mahal. This was bad. And this was not Lashley's fault. This all goes on Goldberg's bitch ass for coming back. For stealing an opportunity from someone else. Right? There's so many talented guys on Monday Night Raw that could have been put in this opportunity. But you decide to put Goldberg's 50-year-old bitch ass, who can't wrestle for 2 minutes, who can't rely on anything than a half-ass spear and jackhammer. This is on WWE's fault for allowing Goldberg to come back at his age and giving him championship opportunity after championship opportunity. That was shameful and disgraceful what they did last night. Pathetic. Pathetic. One of the worst WWE Championship matches in the history of SummerSlam. And it's not Bobby Lashley's fault. And what was worse, after the match, Lashley grabs a chair and he starts attacking, Goldberg's knee, right? Tried to take him out for good, just like he said he was going to do. Right? So then he's unloading chair shots, and you're thinking, oh, maybe the Big E's going to come out of nowhere and, be the hero here and stop Lashley and catch the Money in the Bank. No, we don't get Lashley attacked by Big E. Instead, Goldberg's son Gage comes out of nowhere, and he tries doing a sleeper on Goldberg. On Bobby Lashley. Legit, this is ridiculous. I'm sitting there like, really? What the fuck are y'all doing? They had Bobby Lashley's son, or not Lashley's son, they had Goldberg's son come out and do a sleeper on Lashley. Lashley's like, who the fuck is this attacking me? And then he put Gage in the, Gage in the Hurt Lock, right? MVP stopped Lashley, and MVP grabs a mic, and he's like, there's no way that Lashley could have known that was Gage's son. That could have been anybody attacking him. Goldberg all of a sudden stopped selling. He stopped selling the leg injury like an idiot. He stopped selling his leg injury, right? He's all of a sudden, and he's just yelling, oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Goldberg, you are a disgrace and a pathetic excuse to wrestling. Pathetic. What? He stopped selling his leg injury to act like his son. All right? He stopped selling his leg injury to go save his son. Goldberg, are you serious at that moment? You stop selling your leg injury to protect your son, but you forget the story. Goldberg forgets the story here. Lashley's celebrating on the edge of the ring, right? But Goldberg saying, I'm going to kill you. Bro, everything about this was pathetic. Gage trying to act like a hero here. Goldberg, selling and not selling his leg injury. All of it was pathetic. This was a shameful WWE Championship match. And the fact that we didn't get any cash in from Big E. We all thought after Big E won his match with Baron Corbin in the pre-show. We all thought in the pre-show of Baron Corbin losing the Money in the Bank briefcase and Big E getting his revenge. We all thought, maybe Big E's gonna cash in the WWE Championship match, and we didn't get that. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. The WWE Championship scene is horrific right now. And if WWE dares tries to do another match with Goldberg and Bobby Lashley, everybody watching Raw should just go straight to AEW at that point. Goldberg does not belong in a wrestling ring at this point in his career. Bobby Lashley deserves way better as WWE champion. Goldberg is not the answer. Goldberg should not be in a wrestling ring ever again. Simple as that. Simple as that. Anytime Goldberg appears, it's a shameful and it's a disgrace to wrestling. That's what it is. All right? It's shameful at this point. Shameful. I don't care how many times I've repeated. They make that point to you guys. Fuck Goldberg. Honestly, fuck Goldberg. When the hell is he going to learn that he just doesn't have it? He talks about, oh, man, your son needs to get this. My son, right? My son needs to see who I am now. If this is who your son wants to see, then you're a disgrace as a father. And I don't apologize for saying that. Right? He's way better off going and watching Goldberg on YouTube. Going to see what Goldberg was in his past than seeing what Goldberg is now. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Goldberg should not. And if Vince continues to think that Goldberg is the answer in this company, then it just proves once again why Vince is out of touch and why he needs to go. Fuck Goldberg. Fuck Goldberg. I don't know where you go with the WWE Championship from here, because I don't know when WWE's going to have Big E cash in. But really, fuck Goldberg. That's simple. Anybody but Goldberg in the WWE Championship hunt. Anybody but Goldberg. Hopefully, Dog brings up a good point. Goldberg versus Lashley will probably happen again at the Saudi Arabia show in October. Remember, WWE is planning a Saudi Arabia show in October. And if they are planning Lashley versus Goldberg for that show, that's a shame. They could do so much better. So much better. I hope I'm wrong and we never have to see Goldberg again. But man, fuck that. Anybody. You have AJ Styles, you have Riddle, you have Orton, you have all these other guys. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross. You have all these guys that would be so much better in the WWE Championship picture, but you want to keep on giving us Goldberg. Fuck that. Fuck Goldberg. Fuck Goldberg. Oh yeah, mind you, while I've been ranting about Goldberg this entire time, Kyle O'Reilly defeated Adam Cole in the third fall. He defeated him in the third fall of the Undisputed Finale. And I'm not mad at Kyle O'Reilly winning, right? I'm not. If Adam Cole is leaving WWE for AEW, we don't know yet, but if Adam Cole is truly done in NXT, and he's truly done in WWE, no matter if he's going to the main roster or if he's going to AEW, still, it's just the ending of the match. So Kyle O'Reilly had Kyle O'Reilly was handcuffed by one arm to the top rope, right? But Kyle O'Reilly was able to counter it into a heel hook, which was a cool spot. Here's the thing. Adam Cole tapped out, but he had a kendo stick right next to him. Adam Cole could have easily grabbed the kendo stick and whacked Kyle O'Reilly off of him. What is it? If the kendo stick wasn't there, it didn't matter. It's whatever. It's whatever. But there was no reason why Adam Cole should have let that kendo stick just sit there. Adam Cole should have grabbed the kendo stick and started whacking Kyle O'Reilly with it. All right? That's my opinion. You know? So that was a dumbass ending to this match. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Wait a minute. So wait, hold up. Are they having Karrion Kross? So is Dakota Kai? Woo! Hold up. Did Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez already happen? Am I missing something? Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing. Is Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez happening in the main event tonight? Oh, so it already happened. Oh, fuck. So I missed that match. So who won? Who won? Dogda, who won? Did Raquel win, I'm guessing? I'm waiting for Raquel. Oh, fucking hell, man. Raquel won? Why? I was rooting for Dakota Kai, bro. I really wanted Dakota Kai to get her moment. Fuck. Damn, Raquel won. Fuck. I was hoping for Dakota Kai. Damn, sad. Anyway. But yeah, man. You guys saw my rant about the WWE Championship scene. No Biggie cash-in, man. No idea where we go from here. Disgraceful. All right, last up but not least, the Universal Championship match with John Cena and Roman Reigns. This was the main event. We knew it was going to be the main event, right? And look, to be honest, we all knew that Roman was going to win this match, right? It was more just the story and the story here, right? Cena and Reigns, two all-time greats. Cena, honestly, right? Cena arguably is the greatest of all time. Roman is building his own legacy as he continues this amazing Universal Championship run, right? And Roman putting his career on the line, basically saying that if he didn't walk out Universal Champion, that he was leaving WWE. It kind of made it, very obvious that Roman was going to win this match. It made it very obvious. But it still didn't hurt me. It still didn't stop me from enjoying this. I wanted Cena to win as a huge John Cena fan. I wanted Cena to win. But I knew that Roman was going to win. Cena's going to retire one day, and I want to see him get number 17 before then. I really do, right? But clearly, no one's on that level to beat Roman right now. Nobody. Oh, so wait, Samoa's music does hit. Oh, I miss hearing this theme song. Samoa Joe, baby! Joe. I'm voting for Joe tonight, people. I'm voting for Joe tonight. Samoa Joe, baby. It's been forever since we've seen Samoa Joe, man. Boom. Let's go, Joe! My man. I love Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, baby! Anyway. So. Well, yeah, but back to Cena and Reigns, bro. So, like, you knew this was going to be special even if Roman was going to win. You knew it was going to be special. Cena came out with a special gear, new graphics. It was basically like, it was a Super Mario. It was a Super Mario shirt. They actually did one for CM Punk years ago. But clearly Cena did a nice collab with Super Mario that had this special ring gear for tonight's new shirt. It had 16-time champ on it. It had like the dates of every single championship Cena's won, right? And it also had like the belts, you know, from the World Heavyweight Championship belt, the old WWE Championship belt, the Spinner WWE Championship belt, the WWE World Heavyweight title belt, and then the WWE Championship, the one that Cena won in 2016, right? So he had the new gear, which looked very cool, very special. But I will say this, Cena also, man, that bald spot, bro. Like one of you know, I'm always scared of going bald one day, but Cena, man, that bald spot is something else. Like, look, he's been doing the comb over, and when Cena has it correctly. When Cena has it correctly, bro, it's something. Anthony just texted me. Yeah, Karrion Kross is making his entrance. He does have Scarlett with him. That is very, very interesting. I don't know. You know, look, we all know Karrion Kross is probably going to the main roster. He'll probably be on Monday Night Raw tomorrow night if he loses this match. I expect Joe to win. Let's go. Kross and Joe. And look at Samoa Joe just staring a hole in the Karrion Kross. Oh my gosh, the intensity. Oh man. Woo! This is going to be good. But Cena, man, like I said, seeing that bald spot, bro. Like, when he has it combed over, it looks fine. But, dude, that thing was huge. Like, so many people were talking about it during the match. Because Cena just has a huge dome. When Cena was younger and he had the bald spot, he kept his hair short. So it didn't really distract people from his matches. You know? You can notice it a little bit if you paid attention. But now that Cena's growing his hair, right? When his hair gets all messed up during matches, it's just a huge bald. It looks like Shawn Michaels at the end of his career. If you look at Shawn Michaels' last couple matches, you know, like, that bald spot was very, very huge and very, very glaring. Like, I don't know, man. Cena has way too much money to not take care of that shit. He can easily take care of that bald spot if he wanted to. Easily. Like, come on, bro, Cena. Like, come on, take care of that. Then Roman came out. He had Heyman and the Usos with him, the Bloodline as we call them. You know, and Roman had like a 5-minute entrance. But I always say this: Roman's entrance theme is probably the best in all of WWE. That entrance theme is so good. It's like the final boss of any video game you played. When he comes out, bro, it just, oh my god, that slow walk to the ring, right, with the music and the choir, it's like damn. And the longer this ring goes on, the more crazy and more epic it feels when he comes out. You know? So, like, look, man, Roman made his entrance. It was long, but still, it felt very, very epic. And you knew that this was a legit main event. Very, very legit main event. So then we got the match itself. Roman dominated Cena for the most part. And it kind of went with the story, right? Cena said, oh, Roman was going to kick his ass. He said that Roman was going to kick his ass. Okay? And we knew that Roman was going to kick his ass. Roman dominated Cena here. Dominated. Anytime Cena tried to get any momentum, Roman shut his back down. It was like the story that even as great as Cena is, was the ring rust going to be a factor? Because Cena had not had a legit match in 500 days. His last match wasn't even really a match. It was a Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania last year. So Cena's ring rust, you knew it was going to have something to play. And Roman, who's been on this dominant run, you knew that it was going to have an impact. You knew that it was going to have a heavy impact going into this. So Roman dominated Cena. Roman was talking crap into the camera. He was looking into the camera saying, "Oh, I'm going to dominate. I'm going to send his ass back to Hollywood. Don't you worry. But Hollywood, he's coming back to you after tonight. But he may have some scars. He may have some bruises." So Roman talking shit in the camera is always great. Always great. So Cena tried to get his momentum back, but Roman just kept turning the tables every single time Cena tried his comeback. Cena rallied. Roman tapped into a guillotine, right? Cena kept going for roll up after roll up because he kept stressing the 1, 2, 3, right? Reigns kicked out. So Roman hit Cena with a Superman punch. Cena recovered and hit it with an attitude adjustment, right? Cena then went for the STF. Reigns inched towards the ropes and forced a break. So then Cena caught Roman with a second AA through the announce table. A beautiful looking AA. So then Cena rode Roman back into the ring. Roman kicked out again. So then we had more and more near falls. Roman hit another Superman punch. Cena kicked out. Cena dodged the spear, and Roman crashed into the ring post. Cena delivered a third attitude adjustment. This was a super AA, but Roman kicked out again. They had lots of similarities to their No Mercy match, but still, I would say this match was better. Cena tried everything he could, but Roman just kept kicking out and kicking out. The ending of this match did piss me off because Roman hit Cena with 2 Superman punches and then a spear. That's it. That was it. Cena hit 4 attitude adjustments, including, or not 4. He had 3 attitude adjustments, including an attitude adjustment through a table and a super AA. If Roman kicked out of all that, what are you going to have to do to beat Roman for that title? Think about that, people. Right? Either Cena's AA is weak as hell these days, or Roman's just a god. Because Cena hit this guy with 3 AAs, a super AA, and an AA through the table. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous, and Roman kicked out of everything. And Roman hits 1 spear, 1, 2, 3. That legitimately pissed me off. If Roman had beat Cena with 2 or 3 spears, okay. But the fact that Roman win with 1 spear and Cena hit 3 AAs and Roman just kicked out, I was like, really, bro? Really? So who knows what's it actually going to take to actually beat Roman for that title? Whenever Roman loses that title, no matter if it's Drew McIntyre or somebody else, right? Whoever eventually beats Roman for that title, what's it going to take to beat this guy? Honestly, how many finishes is it going to take? 5, 6, 7? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Because as Roman becomes more and more dominant, the harder it's going to be to beat him for that championship. So I don't know. I don't know. But Roman defeated Cena here. Right? And then, of course, we got Lesnar coming out after the match. Lesnar made his stunning return with a huge pop. He came out with the ponytail and the beard, and Brock is back as a babyface. Brock is back as a babyface. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I was not surprised that Brock was here. I was not surprised that Brock had showed up. Because like I said, you go from Roman beating guys like Daniel Bryan to Edge to Cena, right? You could go up from here. You can't really go down to somebody like Balor. It's not going to be believable. It's not going to be believable that Balor has any chance against somebody like that. So, Brock showed up. the look on Heyman's face told the entire story because this is his former advocate. You know, Heyman was Lesnar's advocate. So you have Heyman actually yelling at Brock, what are you doing? What are you doing? Please stop. But then Heyman left the ring with Roman after the stare down. So it's going to be very, very interesting here what happens, right? What happens? You know, is Heyman going to side with Roman and say, you know, loyal to the head of the table? Or does he go back to Lesnar? Because what's going to be interesting here is if Heyman stays on Roman's side, right, Lesnar's going to have to cut all the promos by himself. And it's not that Lesnar can't cut a promo, it's just not Roman's thing. He's always had Heyman there to do his dirty work. All Lesnar had to do is sit there and be intimidating. And remember, Lesnar's the babyface here. He's not the heel. So it's going to be very, very interesting, you know, how they try to tell this story. I'm not as excited really for the match between Roman and Brock. I'm more just excited to see how this story unfolds, especially with Heyman in the middle. All right? It's going to be very interesting to see what side does Roman take? Or what side does Heyman take? What side does Heyman take? That's going to be very, very interesting to see going forward. And, you know, it's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting to see how this story unfolds. But either way, even though I enjoyed matches like Edge and Seth Rollins, Cena and Roman, Damian Priest and Sheamus, right? Even though I did enjoy those matches, bro, just the middle part of the show and the book of the women's division in general just didn't do anything for me. It was a disappointment. It really was a disappointment. And I honestly think WWE should be ashamed of themselves for the way they booked the middle part of that SummerSlam show. Is the reason why SummerSlam was not a good show in my eyes. I don't know what's going to happen going forward, right? WWE's going to think that having Becky and Brock back are going to turn the tides in their favor. And they're probably thinking, oh, this was a great SummerSlam. But truly, it did nothing. It did nothing, right? Because it's just WWE doing the same old, relying on the same old shit every single time. Every single time. How many times have we seen this with WWE? How many times have we seen this? Guys, like I said, AEW is the new number one. AEW is the new number one. And WWE, you know, as long as Vince McMahon is in charge, that's the way things are going to be. I'm just speaking the truth. SummerSlam was not a good show. It wasn't. It had its highs and a lot of lows. And in my opinion, it just wasn't a good show. But let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. We went 3 hours. This is probably the longest podcast in the history of the show. Probably the reason why it was so long, of course, is because of what happened here with, you know, NXT Takeover. Since we're watching NXT Takeover at the same time as reviewing this show. So I hope you guys enjoyed. But either way, man, that's about it. So thank you guys for joining me for this extra long edition of the Legit Shoot podcast. I ask that you guys please leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. It's been an absolute crazy weekend. So much content from Smackdown to SummerSlam to AEW. And it's just going to get crazier going forward because I will be back here tomorrow night with the Monday Night Raw review. Right? We'll be right back here with the Raw after SummerSlam, and we'll see what happens. I don't know what to expect from the show. I don't expect Becky or Brock to be on the show, but we'll see, right? We'll see. But thank you guys as always for all the love and support. I do have a big announcement for the future of this podcast that will be announced later this week, and I will talk about it then, right? Probably, I'm thinking about Tuesday. I'll probably have that video up for you guys. But still, watch out for that. Big announcement coming this Tuesday for the Legit Shoot podcast. But thank you guys for everything. Make sure you guys go check out all my other podcast content. Check out my anime videos if you guys are interested in all that. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining me, guys. You guys are amazing. You guys have a good night. I'll see y'all later. Peace.